We are now live. We are now live. Oh, I forgot my voice carried. Yelling in the mic unintentionally. While we are getting situated, we will get started in a minute or so. Head over to frames per second and check out our penguin recaps. We are now done with the whole season. Episode 8 is up now on Patreon. The
Crazy
final episode will be coming out this week. But in between time, while you guys have time, you can go ahead and catch up if you are unfamiliar with it. So just go catch 1 through 7, and then when 8 come out, you guys will be ready to listen to it. But
Hey, Ken,
yeah, man, it's crazy episode.
I told you that Batman was gonna have to make some type of cameo or something, bro.
Yeah. I came around to your. So it was you that said that, but yeah, I think it was the episode or later. Something happened, and I was like, "Oh nah, something's." They're gonna have to. It was way too much going on now at the city. I was like, "Nah, they gotta let them know."
So
yeah, because go ahead.
Do you watch anything else before this?
Nah, because it's the Penguin origin story. Now, if you want to kind of like be all the way caught up, watch the last Batman. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't necessarily start from there, but Penguin's
it's trash,
in it.
But go ahead.
Yeah, but Penguin's in it, so you'll kind of see and this is just the origin story. So it's not necessarily starting from when he was a kid, but they backstory it and stuff like that. But get a really good gist as to why he is how he is. In this last episode, it quadruples down on how and why he is how he is. So it's like just a lot of stuff that you don't really see coming, and then when it happens, it's like, oh, that was good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that much of a spoiler, but I guess maybe it was.
No, I can't. I ain't get no details. I didn't get no details. I gave the framework. Come on,
yeah,
you can still go watch it and be surprised.
I think you'll be good. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Nick will be on the way. Let's see what we got here. Okay, cool. This is the place where sports opinions collide, dead in sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Beans. Joining me on the show, we have Shelton, FIFO, and Spike. What up?
What up, though?
What it do?
Chilling. All right. We have a bit to get to today. Let's see where we're gonna start. We're going to football. No college stuff on here. Even though some stuff happened in college. But yeah, I don't see any college stuff on here. Yeah, it was an interesting week last week, but that's not what we're here for. We gotta talk about some picks. We gotta talk about the guy, Caleb. He ain't been looking good. And a lot's coming out now about him, but I want to hear what you guys think. An extension of what we discussed a bit in the group text this morning. The New England Patriots defeated the Chicago Bears on the road 19-3 in a matchup that featured the number 1 overall pick against the number 3 overall pick. It was black versus white all over again.
Oh, man. Are we claiming Caleb? We claiming Caleb?
We claim, folks claim Kamala. So
that's true.
But yeah, it is. But yeah. So and much like the election, it didn't go the way that folks would have preferred to go. At least some folks. But yeah, man, is Drake May really that much better than Caleb, or did people overrate the situation Caleb was going into? And let me give you just a little bit here. It's been 23 offensive drives since the Bears have scored a touchdown. The Bears have also only scored 27 total points in their last 3 games combined, which is probably what led to the Bears OC Shane Waldron being fired today.
Well, that's just a precursor to the head coach being fired because we've been talking about Matt Eberflus now for the last 2-3 seasons and how inept the offense is. To put the blame solely on the OC, this was just a process of elimination and something that was going to happen. Ken, I don't think Caleb is overrated. I think Caleb is solid because we've seen the flashes. We just haven't seen them put together game by game, and that's what makes young quarterbacks. We know definitively that they are a franchise guy. I think Caleb still has all of the natural talent, but he definitely has to work on his craft. But I said it a week ago in our group text where I said, I think Drake May might be nice because we know that he's working with a limited inventory out there when we're talking about weapons, but he's making the right decisions. So what that tells me is that foundationally the coaching is good. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing what you're supposed to do. And I feel that, we've been talking about coaching with the Bears for a very long time. The roster on paper, it looks good, Ken. Multiple weapons. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the O-line is the greatest, probably one of the worst in the league, but you have a mobile quarterback that you should be able to overcome that. You have the weapons not only on the outside, but in the backfield and in the trenches with the tight end, I can't think of his name, but I always mention him. And the defense is solid. So what that tells me is that the foundation of the coaching is not there. We go look at Jaden Daniels now with the Commanders, right? He's balling, bro. And I'm not saying that it doesn't have anything to do with him. It has everything to do with his skill set. But that coaching staff is putting his skill set first and foremost in designing some layups and some gimmies. So that way, when they take the big shot or when he takes off to run, their big plays Chicago has not set up Caleb Williams to be successful from a coaching perspective. I think we called for Eberflus last season. And we said, how much different is it going to look even with a new quarterback? And it doesn't. So, again, it's just par for the course, Ken. Eberflus does not make it past this season. And if he does, they're just ruining Caleb's career.
I would say
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say at this point, I think it's more about Caleb being a little overrated for now. And that's just a for now statement. I think that, like I said in the group chat, a lot of these quarterbacks are expected to come in and have instant success. You expect that from a number one pick, when in all actuality, the goal should be to reach the highest standard, the highest point, not necessarily the fastest to the point, but the highest point in his career. And I think that he will, overall, if given the opportunity and if coaching, we are correct in the assessment of the coaching part of this thing. With the right coaching pieces around him, he can be successful. He has the tools to be successful. It's just a matter of being put in the right position. We saw a lot of those plays that he ran and have been running this year. They're taking a long time to develop. They need to figure out a way to get the ball out of his hands quicker. He's holding it too long, but two, those plays are just taking too long to develop. And when you put a quarterback in that type of position, especially a young one, even though they can process pretty quick, their reaction time is nowhere near as fast. We talk about it all the time. That defense is lightning fast, and they're getting through that line. He's getting a lot of pressure early, but when that pursuit comes on, there's nothing he can do. It's pretty much over for him at that point. And it looks really, really bad right now. And that comes from coaching, and that's designing plays that are quick hitting, getting the ball out of his hands. If it's dink and dunk, let it be dink and dunk. Let those receivers you got, DJ Moore, Rome Duzier, Keenan Allen, those type guys, let them work the ball down the field using their athletic gifts. You got Swift out of the backfield. You can dump the ball off to. Use your tight end, Cole Kmet. Use those pieces and let them do the work. Runs out of catch.
I'm gonna give you a prime example, right? The Lions came back against the Texans, and there was a play, I want to say it was either third or fourth quarter. They were in the red zone, the Lions were, and it looked like it was about to be a stretch play all the way to the left. And what did Jared Goff do? He came out and Laporta ran like a skinny corner and got it right over. Why? Because the whole defense flowed. That was a gimme. We're them type of plays, especially if you have a battle line. That defensive line and those linebackers are going to be super aggressive to try to go get their stats.
Right.
Use that against them. And that's what I be talking about, the gimmies. Like, that coaching staff isn't giving Caleb enough gimmies, like using the defense's aggressiveness against them. Like, come on, man, give him some easy joints.
Yeah, and that's and like I said, that's what's missing. He does not have that, so it's a lot of pressure on that rookie to get stuff done. And yeah, he's the #1 pick, but he ain't the Joe Burrow #1 pick. He ain't the C.J. Stroud #1. He's not even Jaden Daniels pick right now. And it's
I don't agree with that though. They were saying he was generational talent. Like, he is.
He still could be that, Luke. I'm not saying I'm saying to start his career. Like I said, the trajectory is different than where you start. Our starting point is different.
He's arguably as talented as Jaden Daniels, as talented as CJ Stroud, but I'll take it a step further up the ladder than you guys from the coaching. The Bears are a shit organization. Like, they have proved time and time again. They did this 3 times with Mitchell Trubisky. Not to say that he was good or going to be good, but they brought him in with a lame duck head coach. The coach was fired the next year. Now the quarterback is 2 years behind, and you see what happened with Trubisky. They did the same thing with Justin Fields. They brought him in and fired the coach the next year. Now they're about to do this for the 3rd time in a row, because they're going to fire their coach next year and put Williams behind the 8 ball. The Bears are a really shit organization. Like y'all said, Eberflus should have been fired last year. There's no reason he should have this job. Like, he shouldn't be on the sidelines. He shouldn't have been given the keys to this Ferrari, especially knowing the Bears' history and how they've been with quarterback. They should have been very careful in what they surrounded him with. They did a great job on the field. They have the weapons, like you said, Sheldon and FIFO. Like, they have the people around him. He has the opportunity to be good, but he's not being coached up like he needs to. An example I'll give, we see Justin Fields. I still don't think he's good, but we seen what happened when he was at a good organization. He was at least able to go out and win football games because he was surrounded by people like Mike Tomlin and his staff that put him in the best position. Same thing with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud. We hear that DeMeco Ryans is the head coach that you would want. Same thing with Mayo is kind of a different story, but they've been grooming him to be the head coach, as far as Bob Kraft said, for 8 years. So they've been able to build that staff up and put people around him that are going to be good. Same thing with Washington. When they knew they were getting Daniels, they got a whole new staff in there. But what they did to Caleb Williams is unjust. He shouldn't be in this position. I did watch the game. He was holding the ball a little too long, but I think those are things that come with coaching, that come with scheme, as you're saying, FIFO, and he's just not being put in a position to win. Only way I think you bench him, you should bench him if you're scared he's going to get hurt. If I was ownership, I wouldn't want him benched. I would still want him out there getting the experience. My biggest fear would be Eberflus continuing to ruin him even more. But I don't think he's playing that bad. He's not doing what Shelton Boy was doing in Carolina. He's not doing what Richardson was doing in Indianapolis. Like, he's not that bad. It can be fixed if he was with the good scheme.
Spike, part of the reason why quarterbacks hold the rock the way that they do, number one, it could be that they're a playmaker. You know what I'm saying? It's not even that. It's not that he don't know the offense. You don't trust the offense.
Okay.
There's no trust between him, the OC, and the head coach for what he sees. He doesn't believe what he sees. He don't believe what he sees. He don't believe in the play call. He's like, I know it's supposed to be here, but now I know that there's a lot of things that can be said. But I know that one of the few things is you hold on to the rock when you don't trust what you see, and you don't trust. There's no trust between you and that and the coaching staff. And I don't disagree with you, Spike. We've been talking about the Bears organization now for a couple of years, and they're not a good ran organization. And this is just further evidence of that. Yeah, and here's the thing. I think the GM has done an amazing job of getting talent in that building, because it's not like the Bears are bad because of the void of talent. Now, I think in years past, we could have questioned how much outside talent was there, right? Like at wide receiver and stuff like that. But this is not that. Even on the defensive side, like I'm not saying that they're world beaters, but they are a top 15, top 17 defense. Like, they're better than average. So to me, I can't even blame the GM. If I'm the owner, I'm not getting
Ownership.
rid of the GM because I like the moves that we have made. I like the position from a personnel standpoint that we're at. But this coaching situation, they have to get it right. Because here's the thing. We already lost 1 year of Caleb, right? If you don't get it right with the second coach, Caleb's career's trajectory may never reach maximum potential.
Right.
Because we're seeing it with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
We're seeing it with Trevor Lawrence, right? Not saying that he was a world beater, but people was talking about he was generational, prototypical size, arm strength, all of that type of stuff. What's his name from Ohio State? I'm bad with names. Urban Meyer came in there, was a freaking freak show. Then they brought the Pendergrass, where we thought that was going to be slightly better, and we're seeing now that it's like, okay, well, maybe a little bit, but it's not the right hire. And now, they've already paid him. What is Trevor going to be? I think that we can't get to that point with Caleb. We can't have that question.
And that's the point too. When you get to the point where you're not figuring out these people before it's time to get a payday, you still got to pay them. In most cases, they're going to pay them because they don't want to lose these guys. A microcosm in this game that we can take a look at too, because we saw the Patriots. Patriots, since we talking about Drake May and Caleb Williams, the Patriots ran the ball 35 times and passed it 25. The Bears ran the ball 20 times and passed it 35. So you're putting him under that much more pressure to get stuff done. You're not using the run first to set up the pass, no play action, none of that type stuff. You're trying to get him to win the game with his arm, and it's just not going to happen like that for him. There's a lot less pressure in these other places to get it done because they rely on the running game. You talk about Washington and Jaden Daniels, they rely on that running game with Robinson and Eckler to get, to carry them through, and him as well, which opens up the run for him and the pass for him. If you don't have a steady balance attack, you're not going to get anything done. And that's kind of what Washington's going through, which leads to coaching.
This is going to be the most important coaching hire Chicago has ever had because of the potential that they have in Caleb Williams and blowing this pick.
I was hoping we finished before Nick came on because he was going to kill him. But what you got, Nick?
I'm a caveat all this is I'm just coming back. I was kicking it with 2 baby mamas. I was at the bar, you know what I'm saying? So everything in this show is going to be caveat with I'm sauced up right now. However, I'm still mild-mannered Nick. So this year with Caleb, I'm blaming all on the coaches because everybody's doing that, right? Shelton, everybody's saying it's the coach's fault.
Yeah.
I'm excusing this just like how we excused Trevor Lawrence first year with Urban Meyer. Like, I'm excusing this. So I'm not going to judge him as harshly as one normally would based off the hype, right? However, moving forward with the next head coach, because I'm if they keep Matt, what's his name? Eberflus, whatever the fuck his name is. If they keep him next year, that'll be insane. However, I'm expecting them to get a new head coach, and I will judge Caleb based off of that. But I will say, Caleb isn't as ready as we thought he was. We look at Bo Nix, we look at Drake May. Granted, you could say, oh, Sean Payton's coaching the Denver Broncos. He's a better offensive coordinator than Matt Eberflus. However, Gerard Mayo, I don't think nobody came into this season saying like, oh, he going to be a better coach than Matt Eberflus. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know what he was going to be. But he looked like Drake May. He making Drake May look way better than
Caleb
Williams.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is this next head coach, I'm not taking any training wheels off with Caleb Williams criticism. Like, you're the number 1 overall draft pick. FIFA ain't been talking about Caleb Williams all year. And this was this nigga. This was the nigga. This is what I was talking about in the chat. The motherfucker who was talking about Caleb Williams the most. He's the one that was saying, like, this is a generational talent. Again, I always tell y'all, since the Trevor Lawrence shit, I was like, bruh, we got to chill on the generational talents. Because until they play in the league, we don't know who the fuck they going to be.
You got to give him another year of grace next year because it's gonna be the first year of the new offense.
I ain't doing that, Lou. Fuck all that shit.
He can't
I
give
ain't
it to
doing that,
him.
Lou. I'm not doing that
He's better.
because
Caleb Williams
it
better than
depends on who-
Justin Fields.
no, I'm
Caleb
not
Williams,
doing
he
that
better than
But
because
it
Justin
depends
Fields
on
right
who
now.
gets hired. It depends on who gets hired.
FIFA, who did you have going to the playoffs this year?
Oh, I had them as the third team in the NFC
Okay,
North.
so you knew Matt Eberflus was going to be the head coach of this year, right?
I thought that Caleb's talent could overcome.
Exactly. So this is about Caleb. This ain't got shit to do with the head coach, Lou. So what
It
I'm
does.
saying
It's got
is,
everything to do
no,
with it.
what I'm saying is because everybody knew Matt Eberflus was shitball last year going into this year. So when they talk about Matt Eberflus and the whole coaching staff and all that shit, granted, again, I'm mild mannered Nick. I'm saying that, okay, if y'all want to blame the head coach, let's blame the head coach.
Nick.
But
They didn't know.
moving forward, Ken, I'm not doing that shit because if you are telling me that this is the reason why he's bad, the next head coach should be good.
I will say I don't think people knew Nick, whatever his name is, not Nick, whatever his name is,
Matt.
Eberflus was bad because all of the blame was put on Justin Fields.
He won 7 games with Fields, though.
I understand, and the season's not over yet.
That's what I'm saying to Ken. I'm not judging this season. I don't give a fuck what happens. They could go 4 and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They could win no more games this year. And I'm saying, okay, this is on the head coach.
Yeah,
that's what everybody's telling me.
Right. Well,
but next year we can't do that.
Yeah, I think Caleb Williams exposed the coach more than because he doesn't have the excuse left. But I'm gonna be honest, man. As much as I like Caleb Williams, he was overrated. He was overhyped. There's just no way around it.
I tried to say that going into the thing, but y'all was trying to tell me the other thing. I was like, bruh, this nigga look for his last year in college. I was like, bruh, this ain't looking as good as y'all say it is. But motherfuckers was challenging me. And I was like, okay, let it happen. And then we see this season, and ever since that Washington game, bruh, he hasn't scored over 28 points combined in the last 3 games, Shelton.
Yeah, that's rough.
Come on, bro. You telling me this is a generational talent and he hasn't done that shit? You can't.
Yes.
That's why I'm like, okay, it has to be coaching. Because y'all told me this was the generational talent, so it has to be coaching.
That's right. But you know what else? You know what else to look at too, Nick? His teammates really. It don't seem like we talk about DJ
Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore don't fuck with him. DJ Moore was early like, look, bro, we shouldn't really get rid of Justin Fields. I gotta go rapport with him. He got me probably my best career year. They got rid of Justin. Again, I'm not upset with them getting rid of Justin for Caleb because again, you reset the clock on when you have to pay a quarterback.
Right.
But with Caleb, the way he looking, I'm sorry. It just I didn't expect the Patriots to win 19-3. I didn't expect them not to get a touchdown in 3 games.
The thing is, like, I don't think Bo Nick's looking. I think he's looking like a rookie. I don't think we expected him to look like a rookie. That's why I say he was overhyped and overrated, or whatever word we want to use coming in, because we expected him to at least be on the level of Jaden Daniels. The question I have to ask myself is, if we, and I know we do this a lot, but it's sports. It's what we do, right? If we flipped them, would we have the same results? If Caleb was in Washington, we'll never know. But it's something we have to ask.
Going into the season, Ken, everybody and their mama said, bruh, this the best situation any quarterback that's going in.
From a personnel perspective,
that's the expectation.
That's why. Right.
And we have to. Caleb Williams made his college chops under what coach? Oh, that same coach that's over there.
Lincoln Riley.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We have to. We have to judge. I'll hand it to you. Regardless of there were expectations coming into the season. There were expectations coming out of college. We are 4-6. What are they? What's their record? We're 10 weeks in. We're 10 weeks into the NFL season. So now we have to judge and grade this guy based on what he's done. Because now we have enough data, we have enough games to say that he wasn't what we thought he was going to be. And to the guy's point about Peyton Manning, yeah, Peyton Manning got a lot of hype, and he came in the league and threw 100 interceptions. So, and there were a lot of conversations about how, as well, if I can remember correctly, yeah, he didn't look like he was the guy, but he got better. So, what were you going to say, Spike? And then we'll move to the next one.
I'll say this real quick so we can move on because I know Jalen want to move it on. A lot of Caleb's game is due to him improvising. During the beginning of the season, he had more confidence, and you could tell in the offense and Matt Eberflus and what he was seeing, to FIFO's point earlier. After that Hail Mary in the last couple of games after that, he's lost all confidence in this team and the offense and the people around him. Part of that is due to Caleb, but a lot of that has to do with coaching. He's resorted back to what made him successful his whole life, and that's being an improviser. He did that his whole time at USC, and people said that's what wasn't going to work in the NFL. But now, since he got a shithead coach that don't know how to win football games or call plays, he's going back to doing that, and that's why he looks so bad. I don't think Bo Nix or Drake May look any better than he does. Jaden Daniels is the only one that showed he was ready for the NFL. Those other two are just in better organizations.
Should he be benched real quick? Should he be benched?
No, he shouldn't.
No.
He shouldn't. No, he shouldn't. I disagree with that. He's gonna have to learn from his mistakes. But again, next year, hey, look, the way I'm calculating next year, Shelton, I'm watching because y'all niggas said a lot of y'all niggas said all this shit about the coach.
Man, you gave Trevor 3 years though, man, didn't you?
I picked, hey Shelton, I picked Trevor to make it to the playoffs this year.
Hey, Trump in office, the rules done change.
All I'm saying is that if the Bears hire OC, which they're more likely gonna do, we gotta judge them off of that. Because at this point, bro, y'all wouldn't give a lot of QBs this much leeway off of their second head coach. I'm gonna just say,
Shelton, you think that he should be benched in favor of some guy that we never heard of? I know he played last year, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, when I say bench, I don't, like I said, I don't mean bench in the traditional sense. I looked at it. Let me explain. What bench means to some people, bench means like you ain't getting back in there. Bench actually means you need to sit and watch. And that's what some people need. If you look at it at the career of Terry Bradshaw, which I wasn't around to see a lot of that, but I went back and did some research. He was benched a couple times. And they said it was beneficial to his career and it helped him to get where he was.
This motherfucker said
Bradshaw played. When you can sit and learn something, then you're right. But he played for Chuck Noll. Chuck Noll is one of the best coaches in NFL history. If Caleb's on the bench, he's only going to be watching piles of shit from the sideline in Matt Eberflus' offense. It ain't nothing he can learn from this. Get the coach out of there. Let's get the new stuff rolling, and then he
exactly.
The new coach.
Exactly. I want to see Caleb with a better head coach, OC preferably, because if he's shitball with that coach, don't tell me nothing. I'm hollering next season. I'm hollering.
I feel like the OC. You know I'm bad with names, but the OC for the Lions. He came back because he felt that there is something special with the Lions. And I don't disagree with his decision, but I think it's in his best interest to take that Bears job next season for a couple of reasons. Who's not going to pay him?
Well, we need to talk about some real coaches and some guys that's playing better. So the Pittsburgh Steelers escape with a 28-27 win on the road against the Washington Commanders. Again, we're 10 weeks in. Now we got games. We got data. Has Russell Wilson made the Steelers a legitimate Super Bowl contender? What in the hell is this, Nick? A Super Bowl contender, bro?
He just want to come on, so
man.
Any way that we can talk bad about Mike Tomlin, that's what he wants us to do.
No, it's not. This is a prop for Mike Tomlin to be praised. Y'all go ahead and say it. They are what? FIFA, what's their record? 7-2?
Yes, Nick.
Yeah.
They are. I'm gonna answer the question. They are Super Bowl contenders.
Go ahead. Talk about them.
I don't see. Yeah. Of course. Now Kansas City is undefeated, and we all know that. But every one of those games, Kansas City could have easily lost this year if you look back at their record and the games that they played. each one of those games, the other team was in the game. There was no blowouts in these wins, and we've seen that story before. This Pittsburgh defense is not a joke. Now that you have Mike Williams there, you got your guys playing well. They figuring out how to use Pickens in and unlock Pickens. It seems like they got a shot. You're running the ball. Najee Harris is trying to get they denied his extension, but he running like he got something to prove. You got Warren, the change of pace back, who I've always liked. Man, that team got a shot, man. I don't see how you could not give them a shot.
But contender though,
what up, Kyle?
Like they have a legit shot of potentially winning the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. They can go on a run just like anybody else can. I mean, like I said, you look at the teams that's standing in their way, they got opportunity. This game right here, this next game that they'll be playing in against the Baltimore Ravens is going to speak volumes, because if anybody should be a favorite, it could be them. And if they can beat Baltimore, they can definitely beat anybody else in this league. So, yeah, if they could go on a run just like anybody else can, why not?
I'm saying this, Shelton, with money on the line. If you had $100 to put on the line,
I ain't betting on them now. No.
I'm just saying
they're not contenders.
That's all I'm saying. If you got $100 on the line, $100 ain't shit these days. That's like $20. If you got $100 and the Steelers are playing the Chiefs for the playoffs, who are you betting on?
What kind of question is that?
That's a tough question, man. Like
That's
I said, I'm betting on the Chiefs. No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's a tough question, meaning like he's saying.
Then what are we talking about?
He changed the narrative because he's saying
what's going on. My bad. You said he changed the narrative. Go ahead.
Yeah, he changed it, right? Because he said you asked if they were contenders, if I thought that they could do it. The
question is, Shelton, are the Steelers legitimate Super Bowl contenders? So what are we talking about?
We don't know yet. And the main reason that we don't know is because
the answer is no.
Well, they haven't played a division game. They haven't played a division game yet. They still got
the division. I'm talking about the Chiefs. I'm talking about the Chiefs.
The division in y'all division, they still got to compete with y'all. People may say y'all dead or not, but they still got to play Joe Burrow and beat him twice, and they still got to go beat Lamar Jackson twice before we can even know if they good or not. And that's going to depend on where they place in the playoffs. And regardless, they still got to go through Kansas City. We don't know.
They 7-2 or whatever the fuck they record.
They haven't played any division games yet.
They got dangerous. That's what they telling me, Lou. People, you see the headlines too. They telling me that this is this. You see Mike Tomlin talking in the press conference.
If they beat Baltimore,
I ain't seen them smile like this since Big Ben prime years.
They got.
I want to see them play Baltimore and Cincinnati. They ain't got to beat both of them. I want to see them play Baltimore and Cincinnati. Then we can tell if they are in true contention or not. We don't know right now.
I think the Steelers are always a dangerous team, regardless if they have Russell Wilson or not, because of Mike Tomlin.
Don't say that. Don't lie. Don't lie to the viewers, FIFO.
I'm not lying.
Because we've seen Tomlin with that defense for the last 10 years.
I know, and
he ain't never had a losing record.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said that they're dangerous, because depending on the matchup, they could go in and win a playoff game or two. You know what I'm saying? That's just how the organization is. I'm just taking the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro. And this defense is legit. Now you add more weapons. They went and got Mike Williams at the trade deadline. We know that George Pickens has been on the up and up. I agree with you, Shelton. Najee looks like he's running with a different purpose. You know what I'm saying? Maybe them not picking up the extension was a slap in the face and the motivation he needed to up his game. But at the end of the day, we knew that Justin Fields and or Russell Wilson was going to be an upgrade over Kenny Pickett. We knew that. So if this team, which has been upgraded since at damn near every position, either by upgrading by switching out a player or that player just playing better, yeah, they are dangerous, but I would not say that they are Super Bowl contenders, Nick. I also agree with your statement. If I'm not willing to put my money where my mouth is, then they definitely not contenders. Like, I'm willing to put $100 on Baltimore. I'm willing to put $100 on the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a handful of teams I'm willing to put $100. And, if I lose, I lose, but I'm confident putting that money. There's no way in hell I'm putting up $100 and say that the Pittsburgh Steelers are a Super Bowl contender. I don't believe in them that far.
I think your mind could change in 3 weeks. after you've seen them
His mind
against
could change
the people
Sunday.
that they need to play.
It could change.
They play
Sunday.
Baltimore
We'll see.
Sunday. If they beat Baltimore Sunday, there's no way you can't say they're Super Bowl contenders because so
if
it's wide open
the
this
if
year.
game. If the
Well, if
Ravens
they beat- okay.
smack them, but if the Ravens smack them, then that just takes them out of Super Bowl contention.
That
Most
makes
likely,
them
because- what that
Go
means
ahead.
is they're going to have to go on the road and like if the Ravens smack them and win that division, that means at least what the Steelers would be is 6th or 5th seeds. And if they're the 6th seed, they're probably going to have to go to Buffalo first round. I'm not taking them over Buffalo first round. If they're the 5th seed, they probably have to go to Houston first round. They can win that game. But then after they beat Houston, they're probably going to have to play Kansas City in Kansas City. And I ain't taking them in Kansas City. So, yeah, a lot determines on this weekend. If they beat Baltimore and can win that division and can lock up the 3 seed and the 6 seed got to come to them in the playoffs, I'll take Pittsburgh at home against whoever the 5th or the 6th seed is in the AFC.
I want to hear what Ken got to say. Ken, the one that's plugged in with the Steelers and the other motherfuckers. Ken, what you got to say before I got to say my shit?
Well, I
got some shit to say.
I know I was over there Saturday, but it was a birthday party, so I was in the Steelers room that he had, when he watched all the Steelers game, but we didn't talk about the Steelers. He was celebrating. So I don't have any insight into how they're feeling, as from a Pittsburgh fan. But shit, you know one yourself. Q. Q's
Q ain't he a fan of black coaches. He ain't a fan of Steelers. He a fan of Philly.
What my evaluation is this: I need to see Russ play on this team for a couple of more weeks before I can render a verdict. I think he's played in 2 or 3 games. I think we saw what he's able to do versus what Fields wasn't able to do, and it was the go-ahead touchdown. Fields cannot throw that football. It's impossible because he wouldn't be able to read and process the defense that fast, and that's based off experience. Russ saw it. So he has the experience that Fields doesn't have, but it worked. So he's come in. They look different. I think there's a comfort level that they have with the offense. Najee got to play better, but that defense did a couple of things that kept them in the game, and then I think it was within striking distance for Russ to go ahead and take it and close it out. And the Steelers defense did what they needed to do to seal the deal. This was a legit win against the Washington Commanders, so we can't poo-poo it because Jalen Daniels has been lighting up everybody, and they went in there and they won the game. But I'm with Spike. I need to see these division matchups. They haven't played one.
So I'll say this. First of all, let's give flowers to Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? He's a black head coach.
Coming from you?
It's a setup, people. It's a setup.
What was in them drinks?
All
What
I'm
was
saying
it?
Go get my Modelo.
Hey, FIFO, I'm sauced up. Again, I told you I was with a couple baby mamas. I had a good time. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good. So, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? The election ain't go the way I wanted to. So, I'm trying to spread the love to the people that I got.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. Mike Tomlin was right about Russell Wilson so far this season. And he's more than likely, again, going to win 10 plus games, probably. I would say Mike Tomlin is a better version of what's his name, Marvin Lewis, when it comes to rehabilitating players, because he got Russ coming back, he got Justin Fields on the right track, he got Mike Williams on the right track.
He did it with Mike Vick.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give him that. However, like Ken said, we have seen none of these division games. And we know about the AFC North. That's probably the toughest division you're going to get to outside of maybe the NFC West. Vivo, I'm going to ask you a question, bro. When was the last time Mike Tomlin won a playoff game? You know what I'm saying? Let's get a time frame before we start giving him his roses and flowers and bouquets. FIFA, you know the last time Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since season 1 of Insecure.
He turned that man into Marvin Lewis.
Lou, you know how long the Insecure been out there.
Comparing Tomlin to Marvin Lewis is grossly disgusting.
No, I'm just saying as far as
Crazy work. Crazy work, Nick.
rehabilitating.
Insane work.
No, I'm saying rehabilitating the players. You know what I'm saying?
And there's your answer.
We
2000.
even mentioning them together.
And Q was already in the chat telling these stats and all this stuff. So I shout out to Q. He's of course he's a friend of the show. You know what's even crazier? Zach Taylor and Mike Tomlin have the same amount of playoff. Shelton, can I say this? Zach Taylor and Mike Tomlin have the same amount of playoff wins since 2014. What was the last time your kid was born? How old was he in 2014? Did you have any kids in 2014? I just want to know.
Yeah, he was 8.
Nick, you can make stats say whatever you want them to say.
I'm not saying stats. I'm saying the truth.
Especially when
That's
you
all
Google
I'm
them at the
trying
bar.
to say.
Especially when you Google them.
I bring this under the umbrella of, as much as we love to talk about Mike Tomlin during the regular season, we got to talk about the postseason, because that's where legends are made, right? That's where Patty made his resume. That's where Andy Reid is now looked at as the second best coach of all time, if not the best coach of all time. That's where Belichick made his bones. That's where a lot of niggas make their bones. No, FIFA.
No, I was quiet. We're going to start debunking some of the stuff you said. Hold on. Because all of them other coaches that you named, who was their quarterback?
I don't even name one coach.
No, you just named
Belichick. Zach Taylor, too.
Yeah, I just named Zach Taylor and Andy Reid. Yeah,
Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. You just riddled off about 3 or 4 guys that you're talking about playoff success. Andy Reid, another one.
Okay.
And all of those guys, Nick, have had franchise quarterbacks at the helm.
Okay.
Since when did Ben Roethlisberger retire, Nick? Since you want to get into years and all of that.
Probably about 2018, 2019 or something like that.
Hey, Google. When did Ben Roethlisberger retire from the NFL?
All I would say to you, FIFO, was Big Ben in his prime during Mike Tomlin's era?
2022.
Big Ben wasn't in his prime during Mike Tomlin's era?
No, he was, but he caught him. Exactly. But how long was Ben still a quarterback and out nowhere near his prime? He was damn near
the last 3 years. I would say the last 3 years. The last 3 years.
So if he retired in 2022, that means since about 2018, 2019, he's been a shell of himself, right?
Yes.
And he still had a winning record. And he still made it to the playoffs. So all of those other hold on, Nick, because all of those other guys you riddled off had prime franchise quarterbacks. We talking about Donovan McNabb, we talking about Tom Brady, and before Tom Brady, there was Drew Bledsoe. Who else did he name?
You saying Donovan McNabb and Drew Lou, he talking about Donovan McNabb and Drew Bledsoe.
They weren't good.
What have we ever said?
Good quarterbacks?
They were
better than what Pittsburgh had. They were better than what Pittsburgh had. Drew Bledsoe.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about then?
I'm talking about Big Ben's prime years.
He won a Super Bowl with Ben Roethlisberger.
What else did he do after that, Lou? What else he do after that?
What else do he have to do? He got to
win another one.
How many rings Zach Taylor got? You brought Zach Taylor name up. He got Burrow. How many rings he got?
He ain't got no rings. I'm gonna tell you that.
Compared him to Mike Tomlin for some reason.
No. I compared the playoff wins. I didn't compare the rings.
And playoff wins result to Super Bowl victories, and Mike Tomlin got more than Zach Taylor.
When was the last time Mike Tomlin went to the Super Bowl?
He won. I tell you that. How many has he won? That's it.
Okay,
let's see how close Joe Burrow got. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm not. Super Bowl. It's Joe Burrow.
I'm not bringing that up to talk about the success of the Super Bowl wins. I'm just talking about the success of playoff wins. I'm talking about playoff wins. So when I bring up all this, Shelton, it's like
Nick,
we can go. We can. No. I'm bringing this in the context of we could talk about Mike Tomlin in the regular season. I judge coaches about the postseason. What you gonna do then? When was that? 2016, bro. You know, where was you at 2016? Because I know I wasn't on Dead End Sports. I wasn't nowhere. He didn't know no shit about me. He didn't expect a Cincinnati nigga to come anywhere near this damn network.
I tell you what, Mike Tomlin is number 8 all time in wins. regular season, like you said.
Okay.
Mike Tomlin got a Super Bowl ring, just like the other
Talk
dudes
about
that
it.
you mentioned.
Talk
Like
about it.
there is nothing that
Talk
can be
about it.
demeaning to his credentials. I
about
don't care about the drought that you're
Yeah.
talking about, because they go to
Yeah.
FIFO point. He ain't had a quarterback in forever.
Exactly.
Now they've given him a shade of Russell Wilson. He just happened to revive him, and you want him to win the Super Bowl again this year.
No, all I'm saying is, like I said in the chat, Mike Tomlin talking cash shit this year. You see how
He should be. He got the credentials to do so.
You see how he is in the press conferences and all that. All I'm saying is, like, for all the hate that Mike McCarthy gets, for all the I guess indifference that Sean McVay gets,
Bro,
we gotta look at Mike Tomlin the same way.
Mike Tomlin is the most tenured, most successful head coach in the league. And when Bill Belichick was there, he was talking, well, other than Andy Reid. When Bill Belichick was there, he was talking his shit. Andy Reid talks his shit. Mike Tomlin deserved to be able to talk his shit.
And if they don't make it past the wild card round this year, I'm bringing all this shit
still
up.
talk his shit.
Can we rolling the tape? We rolling the tape on all this season. That's all I'm saying. Because as a fan of the Bengals, of course, I'm never gonna root for the Steelers.
Exactly.
I respect my.
I don't know why y'all listen to him.
That was it.
However,
You should have led with that.
Should have led with that.
Sheldon, however, I respect Mike Tomlin as a head coach. He's a black man doing things that we have never seen probably a black man do in the NFL. But if I'm going to keep it a beam, we judge coaches off of wins and losses, not only in the regular season, but in the postseason. If Zach Taylor has the same amount of wins and losses as Mike Tomlin in the postseason, that's a problem.
All right.
But he don't got a Super Bowl ring. Mike Tomlin does.
He does.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. You up, bro?
I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my disrespect for the week. Ken, you already know what I'm going with this. Kickers. NFL kickers. There was a conversation this week about why the hell Deebo Samuels was choking out the long snapper after cussing out the kicker. I'm going to say this. We as the program and on this network alone talk about coaches, players, and GMs. However, we never gave up. We never talk really about kickers. We don't even know most of these motherfuckers' name. I fucking despise how people talk about why teams lose based off the missed kick. Because motherfuckers, we always talk about the quarterbacks and everybody else, but not the kickers. This motherfucker missed 3 kicks, Ken, in the same game. And niggas was like, why is Deebo choking out the damn play? Like, that's his own teammate. Why is he even going out? Fuck all that. Fuck kickers. Point blank, period. They need to be eliminated for FIFA. Did they not change the rule for kicks? Just because they was like, this shit is irrelevant, damn near. We having motherfuckers start at the 30. Like you only got to go 70 yards to get a tutty these days, Lou. And these motherfuckers want to act like all I'm saying is the disrespect goes to kickers in all the NFL. We just literally watched the Houston Texans and Detroit Lions play Sunday night. Came down to a fucking field goal. After all that, I saw D'Amico Ryans make a 4th and 4, I believe. And he chose to kick a 58-yard field goal. When the announcers told me this nigga missed a 50-yard field goal earlier, and they thought he was gonna make it, Lou. And what happened? The motherfucker missed it. Even the Detroit Lions, the kicker that he barely made that field goal. We could have been talking about overtime. What I want to do is the kickers are the most irrelevant part of NFL football. They damn near should be eliminated. Even going back to the college level. We should judge teams based off the players that make the impact the most on the games. I don't even know this motherfucker's name, number 4 for the 49ers. I don't even care to look. I could have researched it before. I didn't care to research it because this nigga's irrelevant. He made the 4th field goal to win the game, but he missed the first 3. I'm sorry, bro. NFL kickers are irrelevant to the game of football because they should not decide how football games are won, because we know the gladiators, the real true competitors in these games are the players on the field, the 11 men on both sides of the offense and the defense. Who deserves this respect is kickers, because they've fallen off a cliff. Even Justin Tucker. Lou, you already know I'm on fantasy, right? I'm battling my ass off every week. I got Justin Tucker on my damn team. This motherfucker fell off a cliff. He can't even make the damn chip shots these days. And I'm sorry. I can't give excuses. We always talk about quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, DBs, edge rushers, about what they did and did not do. We never talk about kickers, bro. We always look at them as like, if they make it or not. Well, you know what I'm saying? What is the kicker? What they can do? Fuck all that.
Well, yeah, the kickers definitely cost a lot of teams some game.
They cost teams games, and we need to move on for that. That's the disrespectful league. Fuck kickers.
Yeah.
I have no comment. I have no comment on this because the kicker's the best person on my team.
Hey man, it's an element. It's a part of the game, though, Nick. I mean, it makes it
on my team.
It's kind of what makes it. It's the wild card. That's like if you're playing cards, you gotta. That's the Joker. So
no, it's not. The Joker's the quarterback.
Well, I'll say, Nick, that's the deuce. Then they playing with deuces. That's all.
I'm with Nick. Get the motherfuckers out of here.
Get them out of the game. They are irrelevant to the game, bro.
If it weren't for Brandon Aubrey, man, I would be even more distraught about this season.
That's the best player on your team.
Lou, what is Brandon Aubrey doing for your team right now?
Making 60-yard field goals.
I'm just saying he can make.
He making sure at least every week we got 3 up on the board because ain't nobody else coming to score.
That's it.
All right.
Hold on. Hey, Nick, shout out to your Knicks, man, beating Philly 103-92.
That's not an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm about to say
it is.
Philly's
supposed to be a contender.
Embiid played tonight.
And Embiid played.
FIFO.
Bro, they're like 1-8 or 1-7.
2-7.
But this was the Embiid first game back.
All I'm saying is that I'm not judging the Knicks until the second half of the season.
You can't because anyway. Moving on. The Baltimore Ravens once again won a shootout at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, 35-34. Now this seems more accurate, Dick. Is the Super Bowl a bust this season for the Ravens? And is Lamar Jackson the clear-cut number 2 QB in the league?
Let me start this joint off. Look, I feel like it's disrespectful this season to say is he the clear-cut number 2, because to me he's playing damn near like he's the best quarterback. Yeah. We could give it to Patty. Patty's the greatest that we've ever seen, but we're talking this season. He's outplaying Patty Mahomes. Let's be honest, bro. He's outplaying Patty Mahomes. Everything that you've ever asked of Lamar Jackson to do, he's doing it. He's throwing from the pocket. He's being the playmaker. He's being the leader. He's getting guys grills. Like, what you doing, bro? Like, that's not about winning. We're not about that. Every single thing that you've ever wanted from Lamar Jackson is doing this season. And I feel Lamar Jackson already a 2-time MVP. Yeah, he ain't win no Super Bowls. But we're not talking about the playoffs. We're talking about regular season right now. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the league today. That's that. And what was the part of the first question, Ken?
Is it Super Bowl or bust?
100%. 100% Super Bowl or bust, because they were the favorite last year. Lamar Jackson won the MVP last year. And the way that they lost is not the way that anybody thought that they was going to lose. So it is Super Bowl or bust for them. There's no other accolade. There's no other thing. There's no however many playoff games he wins. That shit don't matter. For Lamar Jackson, he's the best quarterback right now, and he has to win the Super Bowl. That's the only thing that's missing off of his mantle. Once he get that one, if Pat Mahomes want to win 10 in a row, it is what it is. But Lamar Jackson this season is the best player in the NFL. Should be the MVP again. I know there's other guys that should be up there, but he should be the MVP again. And I read that. I felt disrespected. I need me a disrespectful chant, Nick. I need me one. But
disrespect for what?
because he's not clear cut number 2, he's clear cut number 1. And I don't think that there's an argument to be had.
Bro. Come on,
There's not an argument to be had.
That's
It's not even an argument. It's not even an argument.
That's insane.
That's not
That's
insane.
insane, FIFO. He's playing the best right now. And I'm going to use your favorite sport, FIFO, as an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it may matter if he wins, but long run, it don't matter if he wins a Super Bowl or not. And I will cite Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, all of those people that missed out on championships because they just happened to be playing amongst the greatest player ever to lace up basketball sneakers. This is what Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and all the rest of the quarterbacks are about to go through when they're dealing with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes has looked average at times during this season, but all at the times that when it's counted, he's came through. They're the best. I think they said the third down conversions are the best for any team in the last 15 years. No, they're not playing good in the first 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, they're outplaying their opponents by some crazy ass metric as well. Nick Wright was spewing this shit off. You know, he a Patrick Mahomes flunky. I say all of that to say, yeah, Lamar Jackson is playing great right now, and we know how this is going to end. Unfortunately, how it ends every year. He gonna go face that monster in Kansas City. It's gonna come down to it. We seen it at the beginning of the season. We've seen this. So I wouldn't even be shocked if they gave Lamar Jackson his 3rd MVP, and then they get to the playoffs and they got to go to Kansas City and he get beat by Patrick Mahomes. That's what happened when you play Michael Jordan. We seen it in the 90s in basketball. This is the same thing that's happening now. Unfortunately, Lamar Jackson is going to look like Clyde Drexler when it's all said and done.
Damn, wow. He's shitting on your guy Clyde, man.
I know.
And that ain't no disrespect to Clyde Drexler. He just had to play when Michael Jordan was alive. So
that's a pretty good argument, Spike. And he as of right now, though, he is clear cut number 1 to me as well. I agree with you, FIFO, right now. Now by the end of at the end of this, yes, clear cut number 1 right now, based off his play. He's carrying that team
today.
We can't say the same. Patrick Mahomes' defense has been playing lights out and keeping them in some games that otherwise they wouldn't have been in. We can't say that for Lamar. His defense ain't showed up in a couple of these games, and he had to match these people blow for blow. If he hadn't done what he's done, there's no way they'd be in these games, any of these games. So you got to give him his credit. And yeah, it is Super Bowl or bust for this team. They added Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's making all the difference in the world. So if they don't win the Super Bowl, then that's on them.
What you got to say, Ken? Because I'm going to say some shit later after.
Well, at one point, Sam Darnold, according to Shelton, was a top 5, top 3 QB. So was the other guy in San Francisco. Right now don't mean shit. Right now don't mean shit.
He's been doing it for several seasons, though.
Patrick Mahomes is winning without pieces. He's just now getting pieces. He is still undefeated. Lamar is the clear-cut number 2. He's playing great, but we see Patrick is lifting his team up on his shoulders like no other quarterback ever seen.
The other guy's name is Lamar Jackson right now.
With
what is
all
he talking about?
His weapons available to him.
Hey, people, could you
There's
imagine,
a big difference, bro.
Could you imagine
That's
if
all I
Patrick
gotta
Mahomes
say.
had Derrick Henry? Could you imagine what that would look like if he had Derrick Henry back there, bro?
Lou, I'm not even
They
going
beat the
that
Broncos.
far.
This team beat the Broncos 16-14.
I'm not even. I'm not.
That's defense.
And Shelton, I completely agree with you. I don't disagree with that. But look, Patrick doesn't have Rashid Rice. He doesn't have what's his name? Isaiah Pacheco. He's doing this with a Kareem Hunt who running for but
Kareem
Hunt been balling though.
Kareem Hunt.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying Kareem Hunt running like Penguin though. It ain't sexy at all. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is that they're undefeated, and we're talking about Baltimore, who lost to Cleveland, the Ravens, and who else they lose to? I know they lost. My bad. They lost to the Chiefs.
the Raiders. They lost. Yeah.
The Raiders. My bad. So my thing is this: it ain't about the regular season. Lamar Jackson is more than likely he's gonna win the MVP this year. He's gonna be 3 times MVP. Congrats to him. I fuck with him. If he don't make it to the AFC Championship / Super Bowl, it's a bust. And we gonna look at again. I said this early. I said Lamar Jackson may be the Peyton Manning of this era, meaning that in the regular season he gonna look like God. In the postseason, as far as so far in his career, he gonna look like garbage because this shit don't translate in the postseason. We haven't seen it yet. The only time he really dominated in the playoff game was in that Houston game, but you could put that on the defense. They shut down CJ Stroud, and it was nothing more for Lamar to do but just to ball
It
out.
don't feel different this year to you though.
No,
Lamar
it doesn't. It doesn't, because I told y'all going into, I told y'all going into the season, I was like, they had the number one rushing attack last season. I told y'all going into the season, getting Derrick Henry ain't gonna change much. They gonna have the number one rushing attack this season. It was about what they needed on, to me, and personally, defense. They get cut up.
But last year's defense was top five in every was top five in every statistical category. This year they're struggling, and 85-90% of that defense came back. So it is what it is. They went and made a move at corner. They felt that secondary is weak. They made a move. Kyle Hamilton been out too, but it is what it is. In terms of Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, just like the Lions for the most part, they've won, and they have some bad losses. And Pat Mahomes is undefeated. But they've won in every way that you can ask a quarterback to win. They've won shootouts. They won comebacks. They won drag it out defensive ugly games. Can't nobody get the ball moving. So it is what it is. When I watch Lamar Jackson, I've seen Pat Mahomes this season. Lamar is not the better player. Pat is still the better player. But who's playing better today it's not even close. It's Lamar. Lamar is playing the best football that there is to be played out of any player in the NFL right now.
Does that make him the number one quarterback, though? That's the question.
For the season, it
right
does.
now, for the season, yes.
No, it doesn't.
We're not talking career achievement.
But FIFA, all I'm asking is, you could have said the same thing last year, correct?
It don't feel the same. It don't feel the same.
You can't say that. You can't say that because last year Lamar not only won the MVP, he was the number one seed in the AFC. Is that not correct, Ken? He was the number one the number one team in the AFC, and the Chiefs had to go home. They had to go on the road. That was the first time we ever seen the Chiefs on the road, Lou. And how many points did the Chiefs put up, Lou?
And we'll be talking about the Chiefs Nets too. By the way,
I know they won.
No, I'm saying how many points did they put up?
When?
17. So the Baltimore Ravens top 5 defense, like you mentioned, FIFO, only held them to 17 points, and the Ravens couldn't get it done then. Now you're talking about a defense that even Joe Burrow, Gardner Minshew, fucking Jameis Winston is cutting up.
Yeah.
And you telling me that they supposed to win the AFC after that? I have to see it to believe.
That's the thing. This question wasn't about winning the AFC for me. It was just about, was he the clear-cut number 2, and should it be Super Bowl or bust? It should be Super Bowl or bust. And also, like I said, based off the way they're playing right now, he's just playing better. If we're gonna deal with Mahomes, he has 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So if we do switch those players, you could get the same thing. If he had a strong defense like that behind him, he may be doing the same things. We just don't know. So I'm just saying he's playing better right now.
How could y'all put a guy number 1 who you don't trust to win it? Defense. No, I don't care about defense.
But we're just talking.
This man has thrown 24
y'all wouldn't bet. That's fine. Y'all wouldn't bet against Patrick Mahomes like that. Whether he had people y'all did bet against Patrick Mahomes last year. I was the only one that said he was going to get it done without weapons, but he did it. I was the loudest. And
you were the first. You were the first.
Okay. Yeah. But my point is, even with Lamar Jackson performing this well, y'all still don't have full confidence in him to take that team to the Super Bowl, mainly because his defense is terrible. Patrick Mahomes can go out there with the Make-A-Wish Foundation kids, and we still gonna think he got a chance to win it. That's why I put him at number 1 still.
Yes, but once again, like I said, I know this is a fluid thing. When we know, like Ken said, it's way early. We still got, we may be singing a different tune 4 weeks from now, based off the way things shake out. We could be talking about Russell Wilson like that because he could be undefeated still. But for right now, we're looking at what we see from the eye test. Lamar Jackson is having to do way more. He's having to put that team on his back. Yeah, he does have Derrick Henry carrying the ball and helping him out, but for the most part, he had to match Joe Burrow both. Well, we didn't even know Derrick Henry was on the team. Now that's coaching because they ain't running the ball enough. But he's having to do a whole lot more right now than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes just got to stay out the way, let that defense keep these other teams from scoring, and that's been carrying him through. And I'm not saying he's not great, and I'm not saying he's not going to make plays. I'm just saying at this point, this is what we've seen.
Like you're shitting on him to me. He called out the man's stats and shit. Well, let's talk about him then, since we're there. The Kansas City Chiefs extended their undefeated streak to 9 wins after beating the Denver Broncos at home 16-14. How much longer can the Chiefs keep winning these close games?
I would say this. They gotta lose a game in the regular season. Otherwise, I feel like this is going in like the Patriots when they faced the Giants in 08 and 09 season or whatever, where they win all these games and lose in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are clearly trying to just three-peat. I do think they are winning these games, especially based off their point differential is so close. They're winning these games by the skin of their teeth. They need to take a loss. However, Patty Mahomes ain't lose since Christmas Day of last year, Lou. Like, that's an insane stat, especially in football, where we always talk about any given Sunday. So I think they will take a loss before the season ends, and it's needed. However, Patty, you can't bet against Pat. You just can't. They got the best coach in any game, Shelton. They got the best coach and the best quarterback, and arguably a top 3 defense, if not the best defense.
Yeah,
if you're adding those 3 things together, it's like, why am I picking against them? And this team is seasoned enough to know that they know when to turn it on and when to turn it off, because they did it last year. When I myself, who didn't question Patty but questioned the talent around him, I was like, I can't see him winning with this talent around him, and he did against the best teams in the league: 49ers, Ravens, Steelers, Bills. It's like, okay, until I'm proven wrong, until they lose in the playoffs, I'm not betting against them. That's what, unless they play in Cincinnati, of course, that's when I'm gonna bet against them, because obviously I got to do.
You ain't got to worry about that. Y'all won't be in the playoffs.
All right, fuck you. That's all I gotta say to that. But I'm just saying, all I'm saying,
we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know about that.
Outside of Cincinnati, I gotta go with Kansas City. It's just that but I feel like for confidence sake, they gotta lose the game, because it's just like I can't imagine. Lou, I'm betting against them of this. They can't go undefeated and win the whole thing. Right. Like, if they do that, then Patty's the GOAT, bro. I don't care what nobody say. Fuck Tom Brady. I don't want to hear Tom Brady's name ever again. He ain't never done the shit that Patty did, period. And if they go undefeated and win the ring,
I'll say this: I'm rooting for that. I want to say I was alive and seeing Patrick Mahomes go undefeated while winning his 3rd ring. I ain't got a dog in this fight no more this season, so I can root for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to go undefeated. I don't want them to lose. Yeah, just take me out back and shoot me, kid. Take me right where there's sunshine in the stadium, in the end zone, and shoot me where people can't catch balls to touchdowns. But yeah, I'm rooting for them to go undefeated. I hope they don't lose. I hope they continue to win games, and I hope they take this all the way to the Super Bowl. And I think once they get there, we got Patrick Mahomes. Like, yeah, the Lions are clearly the best team in the football. Like, they're dominating, but one game, Super Bowl, most important game of the year, and we undefeated, and we're trying to wrap this up. Yeah, I'm betting with Patrick Mahomes all day over the dude that just threw 5 picks against the Texans. So I'm rooting for history. I want them to go undefeated to go to the Super Bowl and win it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Lions next. Yeah, I don't think they're going to remain unbeaten, but I think they have found different ways to win games. You know, the defense, special teams, Patrick Mahomes making timely plays when he needed to make them, integrating a whole new players in there. They just got D-Hop, Xavier Worthy. We don't know if he's good or not. He might just be fast. They got Hunt, you know. Damn, I was about to say something fucked up.
You had to catch yourself.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had to catch myself. And Andy Reid, man, you know. So, but you know, the rent's due at some point for this team where they won't be able to overcome it. That was the division game last week, so we know how those go. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to get to the next week with the win, and that'll be that. So you know, I don't know if they'll remain. I doubt they'll remain undefeated, but I do think though that what I'm looking for is, will they find a way to get the offense rolling so the stats that Shelton reel off don't look as poorly as they sound or as they are, you know? So, but he's still that guy, man. He's still the number one guy, man, and he's still making those plays when he need him to make them. And you know, that's sometimes it's beyond stats.
Let me ask the panel something. They played the Bills, the Panthers, the Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, and Steelers. If you went out and you get to that last game against the Broncos and you are playing for nothing other than to go undefeated, would you play your starters that last game? Or would
Absolutely.
you sit?
I would not. I would not.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I would
Yeah,
not.
That's history.
Yep.
History is only made when you win the chip.
They proved.
So you said you wouldn't.
And you'll get the next week off, and you don't want your team sitting out 2 weeks like that going into the next game anyway. So you want them to play. You'll get regardless if you went out, you'll have a week's rest anyway.
You know who that happened a lot to? Peyton Manning.
Yep.
You know, we want to talk about, you know, the playoff, the lack of his early success. Oftentimes he was sitting 2 weeks, and we know that, especially Peyton Manning, he's like a rhythm guy. Now you got to stay in it, and 2 weeks off, that's a lot, especially at the end of the season like that. So I agree with Shelton for both of those reasons. You want your guys lathered up and ready to go, but also it's history, Nick, and we're talking about Pat.
Lathered up and ready to go was wild.
I was gonna let it go. I was gonna let it go.
Diddy.
Oh man,
That was straight out of Diddy party. That was straight out of Diddy.
Hey, bro. Hey,
And I got the Miami color on. Oh man,
you gotta make sure you come correct. Bro.
Shit. That was a good catch.
That was. But look, either way, man, you want your guys ready to go. And yeah, man. Just
y'all made people go quiet. All I will say is that I'm so glad the Chiefs won this game, King, because I did not want to hear about the white man talk about Sean Payton and what he doing with Bo Nix, because you know, Lou, you know they're waiting to talk about this shit, bro. They ready to talk about this shit. This Make America Great Again team. I'm so glad they got their field goal blocked, because now we can just look at Bo Nix as the rest of these rookie QBs. Like, all right, he all right, but he ain't shit.
Patrick Mahomes make America great again too, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, but he black at least, so we gotta show. Like I said, we gotta have allies on both sides of the
I don't think they let his daddy come to the game no more, Nick.
Yeah, he done banned his dad.
He leave the black side at home.
He got his mom out there now rocking the MAGA hat.
Hey, Lou, his daddy only come out for the rings. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
He don't come out for the regular season. Come out for the rings.
His daddy got to buy a ticket.
But Ken, real quick, I do agree with you. 9-0. I don't know if they win every game, but at the end of the day, it is about the offense clicking. D-Hop, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll have enough offense to win a championship. Obviously, they have enough defense. I think the question is, can they win a shootout game? That's what I need to see. 45, 50 points. We know Pat can do it, but this offense hasn't looked like they can yet. So can they have that type of win? They have that type of win, I'll shut up.
Well, that was a pretty impressive win last what was it, Sunday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I had to watch the replay, the condensed version, because all I saw were you guys talking about 5 interceptions, this 5 interceptions, that. Because I was like, I got to see what the hell happened with Goff, and so I'm glad I did watch it for the additional context. So anyway, the Detroit Lions made an unbelievable comeback on the road against the Houston Texans, winning 26-23 on a game-winning field goal, which may or may not have drew the ire of Nick with his disrespect rant earlier. Are the Lions officially the favorites to win the Super Bowl? And then there's a second question where we're gonna talk about CJ Stroud and this loss.
The Lions are the favorite. The Lions are the favorite. I'll be quick. They're the favorite to win the NFC. Hands down in a way.
I'm not going to say hands down. I'll give you that, but at the same time, I don't, because I don't believe in Jared Goff. I've been saying it all season. I don't believe in Jared Goff. I think that when the going gets tough, he gets going. I don't trust him. There's no way you're going to convince me that Jared Goff is that type of quarterback.
You trust Jalen Hurts more than Jared Goff?
You took the words right out. I was going to let him finish.
Absolutely.
I was going to let him finish,
Absolutely.
Nick, that was be my question.
Yes.
Shelton, why don't you trust Jared Goff?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why? Why do you
Jared
trust
Goff? I just don't trust him to be able to put that team on his back and make those plays. When the pocket collapses, there's really not much he can do. So
isn't that a lot of quarterbacks?
It is a lot of quarterbacks.
That happens to Jalen Hurts. Okay,
but I'm putting it because Jalen Hurts can run. He can get out. He showed you that, right?
That's what
he showed you.
Yeah, but he also doesn't perform well against the blitz, which happens with pockets of collapse. But anyway, besides that, this year, but yeah, he probably rebounded. But anyway, but besides a thing that happens naturally to every quarterback, regardless of how good they are,
that's not natural.
What else do you have?
That's not it, Ken. That's not it. That's not the case. Absolutely not.
Give me something else, because Patty would struggle if the pocket collapsed.
No, we're not.
Right?
We're not talking about that. No, because every quarterback does not struggle when they're under pressure.
Bro, we've seen Brady struggle when the pocket collapsed. What are you talking about?
When the pocket collapses and you're under pressure, you need to be able to get the ball out of there, or you need to be able to get out. One of the two. He does neither well. He doesn't make great decisions when he's under pressure. That's the difference. Not necessarily the pocket collapsing, but his decision making is not always there. Yeah, he's accurate, and it's easy to do with a lead. It's easy to do when everything is going well. But we saw what happens. What happened in this game that we just saw was more about the Texans than it was about the Lions. Yeah, it was a valiant comeback. You can't take nothing away from that. But the Texans were in complete command, and they had every opportunity to close this game out, and they just didn't do so. So it's more about that than it is about Detroit battling back to win, because they shouldn't even been in position to battle back to win if it wasn't for mistakes by Caleb. He had a wide open touchdown that he missed. He had a couple other plays that he missed. It was him personally that was making mistakes that cost him that game.
CJ, not Caleb.
CJ. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that point up, Sheldon, because outside of the goofiness you're talking about with Jalen Hurts, shout out to Dog.
He's the second winningest quarterback in the last 45 games.
Shit. That's fine.
Now, let's go.
That's fine. Shout out to Doghouse 12 E45, because me and him, Ken, you already know, me and him go back and forth on the Reddit threads. And I didn't shout him out on last week episode, but he's a big Texans fan. I don't know if he's from Texas, from Houston or whatever, but shout out to him. But he's been shooting bail for CJ Stroud. Hella. And in this game, I'm sorry, you can't shoot no bail for that motherfucker. Like you mentioned, Sheldon, he talked about the O-line and the play calling offensively for the Texans. And I'm like, how do you go up 23-7 in the first half and score no points in the second half and blame that on the OC when, like Shelton said, there was a wide open touch? Like it's more than butt naked. It's like
not only
child's play. You threw a pick. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you threw a pick. And it for a touchdown, like all they needed was to get to 30. That was the game. If you score 30 points, you win the fucking game. And he missed a touchdown that not only with like, all right, if he missed the throw, that's fine. But he threw an interception when the game was about interceptions. And that's when I tried to have a conversation early. He called me a hater. He's saying, since your Bengals ain't doing good, I'm sure you trying to hate on CJ. I'm like, look, nigga, I'm mild-mannered Nick. You know what I'm saying? I call it like I see it, FIFO. So when I see CJ struggling on easy shit, I'm like, it don't look the same. And Lou, you was the first one to call this out in the chat. You was like, bro, I think they kind of figured out Stroud. And I don't know what it is. And then Mixon coming out making comments saying like, oh, we should not play to not to lose. It's looking like, again, Ken, this is why I was saying, like, let me lay off on D'Amico Ryans before I put him on my coaching list. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see what he look like in year 2. I don't know if this is on the coach or CJ. Either way, I would say last game is on CJ because you missed some easy throws and you was up by umpteen amount of points.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have lost that game and at home. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll say this with D'Amico, his defense played through. Like, you get 5 turnovers on a quarterback, you should win that game. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. But the fact that they lost it the way they lost it, and then on the 4th and 4, when they went for the 58-yard field goal, and I would have said, bro, put that in CJ's hands at that point. Because I wouldn't trust no kicker. You already know how I feel about kicker.
I thought the same thing.
If it's under 50, I'm not trusting the kicker. If it's over 50, I'm not trusting the kicker. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because you could have went to Dale on that play and gotten that first down. They did it a couple of times earlier, and they had every opportunity of doing it again.
I think I'm slightly on the other side of this. I would say, like, CJ Stroud know what they're gonna do. Like, they're gonna be the 4th seed in the AFC. They're gonna win that division, and we'll get to see in the playoffs if he gets to perform. I was impressed that Goff bounced back. Like, you throw that amount of picks in your team.
Oh my God!
Like, you throw that amount of picks and your team is still able to win. You control the game. You minimize those mistakes moving forward, and you keep ahead enough to that 4th quarter. He did his job the 4th quarter. He finally shook out of whatever the fuck was wrong with him and did what he needed to do. And what I would say to you about the pressure thing, Sheldon, yeah, you're right. He probably is that way around pressure, but guess what? They have the best offensive line in football. So it ain't going to be a lot of teams that's going to be able to get pressure on him. So he's going to be able to at least do his job. And as long as he doesn't have another bonehead game like he had this week, and even now they won still, and he bounced back for it, the Lions the best team in the league.
Do you know how crazy you just sounded saying you were impressed by a man with 5 interceptions?
I don't think. Wait.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If anybody else had threw 5 interceptions,
time out. I think it's the way it sounded. That's because it sounded insane. Lou's not impressed by the 5 interceptions. He's impressed that he was able to overcome the 5 interceptions.
He didn't overcome nothing. He didn't overcome anything.
Shelton.
Who won, Shelton? Who won, Shelton?
Anything. It don't matter.
Who won, Shelton?
So this is about wins and losses. Once again, it goes back.
Nick, what do you say the game's about? What do you say the game's about, Nick?
I say
so. Who's the winningest? Who's the second winningest quarterback?
No.
Don't bring Jalen back into this.
No, fuck Jalen Hurts, bro. Why the fuck we talking about Jalen Hurts? We're talking about Jared Goff overcoming this situation. No, I'm giving context to how he worded it. It sounded crazy that he worded it. A 5 interception game isn't impressive, but finding a way to win with that many mistakes, you have to give a team credit for that. Go ahead,
I give the team credit. I just said I give the team 100% credit, but y'all not gonna give him credit.
You watched it in the condensed replay, or did you watch it live? All right,
I watched half of it live, and I watched the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing live.
So the difference between when you watch one of these games condensed versus when you watch it live, it takes the emotion out of it. It takes the situational emotion. Oh, they have the momentum. They have this. They have that. When you watch it condensed, it's almost like you're just watching film. It's like you're watching game tape, right? So you're able to just look at the game for what it really was instead of everything else that happens, momentum, just emotion. The emotion of the game is taken out of it.
Yes.
So Nick, I do agree with CJ Stroud. The play calling in that second half was very conservative. They played a game to not lose the lead versus we put up 23. Let's see if we could put up 50 total by the end of the game. They didn't play that way. They played that way in that first half. So I do agree with him with the play calling in that second half. Now, I do agree with you, Spike, as well. The way that it was worded was crazy, but I knew that you watched the condensed version when you said what you said, because when I watched it, I'm like, damn, he threw that? Okay, that was a pick. Oh, that, okay, whatever. You know, because like the one that Petrie hit, the first one, it's like, okay, that's just a great defensive play. I could live with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a bonehead mistake. But the deep one he threw to Jameson, that
was bad.
Nigga, that was a bad pass. So he had joints in there that technically wasn't his fault, but he gets credit for the interception. He had a lot of them that was his
three.
fault.
There were three that were just bad luck. There was one was a Hail Mary. But the two that were awful were in the second half when they were trying to come back.
Yes,
those were the most egregious interceptions of the game.
100%. And that's why it's impressive. Wait, hold on, Shelton. This is why it's impressive, because early Jared Goff, they would have lost this game. Early Lions, they would have lost this game. This shows hold on, no, it does matter. This shows the unity of the team, and it shows the culture. It shows the culture. What's my guy head coach name? You know, shit, I've been on his bandwagon. Dan Campbell. This shows the reason why Dan Campbell was the right and the perfect head coach for this team. Because early on, when it was losing, it was just say, play the right way. If we lose, we lose, but play the right way. What they did was everything he preached early on. They played the right way, they stuck with it, and they won the game. And he had faith in Jared Goff. They didn't go away from Jared Goff. Now, I will say that Jahmyr Gibbs did go crazy in that second half. Like
he did. I will admit too. I'll admit, FIFO, you've been on Campbell and trying to say he was a good coach. I called him a rah-rah guy and gave him shit the last 2 years. This was a perfect example of how he's perfect for that organization. Like that rah-rah shit works. And rah-rah, I'll take him in Dallas tomorrow now. That rah-rah shit works. It works.
You better have the coordinators, Luke.
I was wrong.
You better have them coordinators.
Yeah, with the same staff, Sheldon. With the same staff. Not solo.
But Shelton, to me, it's like as much, I'm not seeing the chat too. They were like, y'all not letting Jared Goff off the hook. No, we're not saying Jared Goff played a great game. He played shit ball.
Yes.
What I'm more concerned with, I'm not even thinking about the Lions. Shelton, I'm looking at as a Houston Texans team. If I go into the game and say, before the game even kick off, y'all can get 5 picks on Jared Goff. It's a 3-point game at the end of the day.
That's wild.
If I told y'all that was the circumstances of the game and you got CJ Stroud, Sheldon, you'd be like, they should win that game at home, right?
Absolutely. Easy.
So that's where I'm going at with it. It's the fact of fuck what the Lions did. You couldn't win that game?
Yeah.
You couldn't win that game
because the Lions.
But see, back to what you said though, Lou. You said you're impressed with Goff. My whole point to this is this: I ain't impressed with shit Goff did. I'm not impressed with none of that. You got to be impressed with the team putting him in a position to be able to do anything. But he didn't really have to do much because they did it for him. If you have 5 turnovers and they have 23 points, how many turnovers in the second half? And you got no points out of it. Right. How often are you in that position to where that happens?
The team is very impressive. The team is very impressive. I agree with you, Sheldon, but we can't shit down our legs what Goff has been doing this whole. You're talking about a man that has completed 78% of his passes. That's never been done before. Yeah, he had a bad half of football. He had a bad half of bad 2-3 quarters of football, but even still, because he has a good football team and he kept his head, they were able to win that game in the fourth quarter. He played a good game. Now I know with most football teams, it ain't stacked like the Lions. You got to play more than one quarter to win the game. But fortunately for him, I just got to show up for this one quarter after I shit the bed these other 3 quarters, and we can still win. I was impressed that he went down on himself and he didn't take that shit to heart and continue to throw interceptions or just get way too behind to where they couldn't win.
Because his team kept him in it. That's what I'm saying. His team kept him in it.
I'm not disagreeing with that. He still had to go out there and do his job, though, after fucking up all night.
But what I'm saying is if one of those possessions had went differently, that wouldn't have made any difference.
But
it wouldn't have made a difference. So we can't. But what I'm saying is, it didn't. It didn't. We can't even talk about him. We got to get past this other stuff first. Y'all, I can't believe y'all glossing over this. So if it's just about wins, we gonna every time quarterback play bad, we're not gonna look at none of this stuff. Because I done heard y'all kill some quarterbacks that win.
What about the best completion percentage over 9 games? Like you dismissing everything.
This is about the totality of it. It's not about this game, right?
This is about Jared Goff. Because you giving me 3 quarters.
And I'm telling you, I don't
7 games
of the same thing.
But we giving you 7 games of stat where he got the highest completion percentage ever in
It's Jared
NFL
Goff.
history of any quarterback. Yes, he completed
Jared Goff.
80% of his passes.
That's pretty good.
That's
for Jared Goff.
impressive.
It's pretty good.
That's good for
But
anybody.
like it is. But like we
It'd
talked
be
about,
great for Jalen Hurts, I tell you that, man.
you still got to get to the playoffs and you still got to perform, and it's still Jared Goff.
Look, I'm pretty positive I've come on this program before and talked about how quarterbacks have overcome bad games to win games after shit in the bed. I'm pretty positive I've done that because I feel like I've had this argument with a few of y'all before about the same damn shit, about fucking up but finding ways to win the game. Patrick Mahomes has done it this damn year. He's been throwing interceptions left and right and found ways to win games. And we can say the defense came or it was a team game, whatever. It is what it is because it is a team game. But they find ways to win. Shit, Stafford. We had a very similar conversation when Stafford went on to win the Super Bowl about how he was throwing the game away, but he found ways to win the fourth quarter. So I would like to believe I'm pretty fucking consistent with this. So there are a couple of things that go with this. The first half was horrendous, unfortunate, bad luck shit. The second half, he was fucking throwing the game away. After you get an interception, you turn around and give the shit right fucking back. You guys are absolutely correct. CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryan are the ones that even allowed this team to come back and win this game after everything that went together. But the fact of the matter is that guy is still the quarterback. He still has to make throws. He still has to lead this team and keep everybody together. But as a team, they came together with the coach and CJ Stroud missing shit and DeMeco Ryans calling bad shit and 2 absolutely lucky ass fucking field goals in a week that Nick fucking trash fucking field goals that he should have fucking missed. So they got extremely lucky. But what is the one thing that Kyle has repeatedly said over and over and over again this week or this season? Bad teams find ways to lose. The question is, are the Texans slowly falling into one of those bad teams? They should not have lost this game, period.
And that's why this is a Lions take, because they are a good team and found a way to win. To me, when I watched that game, the Lions took control of that second half. Even with the turnovers and everything, you saw them take control. And it's like, nah, we're not losing. Like, even with the mistakes, bad teams, they get down on themselves, and you see it in their play. The Lions didn't have that.
You could almost see it play out on the field, FIFO. Like, once the Lions realize as a good team, oh, this is the scheme. This is what they're doing. We're going to go away from that completely, and we're going to run Gibbs. We're going to run the rest of the running backs. And we're not even going to throw those passes that you guys were intercepting at first, and we're going to win this game. They realized in real time, okay, this is how you win. And the Texans never got that realization of this is how we close them out. I don't think this is a Texans take. The Texans are what they are. This is about the Lions being, oh, damn, they for real. Like, this is a team that every team in the league need to be on watch about.
And I will say this for the Texans fans who are listening. They are just young. And this is one of those games you just got to learn from. You got to learn when to run the ball, when to lean on the run game, because in that whole game, I was talking to the chat. I was like, bro, I was talking to 12 Kyle. I was like, bro, both teams don't realize they just need to run the ball. This is not a game for the quarterbacks. This is a game for the run game.
But your boy struggled in this one.
Yeah, Joe Mixon couldn't get going. That was the difference in this game, to be honest. Is at a time when they would have chewed up clock and gained yardage with them.
But Gibbs and them wasn't balling throughout the whole game. It was mostly based off of just them.
But they got it going in that second half.
Right. He averaged 1.8 yards a carry, though, Nick. He couldn't get going at all.
No, what I'm saying is that you just wear down the defense. That's what the Detroit Lions did.
That's what they did.
But because the Detroit Lions wear down the defense because that O-line are maulers. Do you know how many times Penei Sewell was ahead of the runner, eating up linebackers,
defensive backs?
No, FIFA. Trust me. Outside of Philly, the Lions have the best offensive line in the league.
Including Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, because the only reason why I give it to Philly because they got the tush push. They damn near over 50% at least on that, 50 to 80% on that. You can't
Yeah,
deny
but
that.
Kelsey not there no more. They
No,
should
but
downgrade.
it's still the results are still the same.
I feel you,
but
but the O line's
Jarvis
better.
is
than-
the same
than-
but
thing.
my thing is
Detroit.
this is like my
Cheap
thing is
ass
this
franchise.
my thing is this with the Texans is like clearly the offense does not run through CJ Stroud and the passing game. It runs through the run game this season.
Mhm.
And they need to lean
Yeah.
into it. Because CJ is not
Stroud
looking like
and Stroud got to be better. Like let's
All right,
like
then
put it
power
out
rankings
here.
next.
Like he has to be better. He has to be better.
Mhm. Especially when it matters most. Like I said, even with the fact that Detroit was doing what they're doing in the second half, because they outscored the Eagles 19-0 in the second half. I mean the Texans 19-0 in the second half. Even with that, all he needed was a drive, and he couldn't get one. And like I said, we saw that the Tank Dell play was one play, but at the same time, that was a huge play. And
it always comes down to that, Shelton. It always does.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like he was doing that last season, and this season is like, all right. Again, this is not to say that CJ Stroud is a bust or he ain't shit. It's just more of like people got
He
game
just
film
got to play
on him,
better, bro.
and he got to play better.
He just got to play
That's
better.
it.
That's
And
it.
he had a couple third down in there too. Yeah.
They're gonna win their division because the division is shit ball. So they're gonna be in the playoffs. This is not
And
to
that's
say that they're
another
not-
thing too.
Yeah.
It may be due to lack of motivation. Like they're going to get the 4th seed in the playoff. Like they're gonna win the division. They're not competing with anybody. So maybe that's the thing too with him being that young and already knowing that like we pretty much got this shit set.
I just think they got tight, Lou. I really do. I really think that the pressure got to him heavy.
Pressure
That's what
burst
I think,
pipes. And the pressure were the lines. Spike, you up next.
All right, man. Let's do this. What we're doing today is Spike's Power Rankings. Power Rankings today are going to be the most disappointing teams of the season. We spent time talking about the Lions and the Chiefs and all these teams that have been faring very well, but let's talk about the people who have fucking sucked. I didn't put this in Jalen, so he won't have this as a graphic, but number 6 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 5, we got the Chicago Bears. They should have fired their coach a long time ago. We had a long segment about this, so I don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but the Bears are not doing what they were supposed to do, especially winning 7 games last year and having a talent. I still feel like a talent like Caleb Williams at quarterback. They should be doing a lot better. Number 4, the Jacksonville This is hell. This is purgatory. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with Doug Peterson. I don't know what Trevor Lawrence is. Like, this is an absolute shit show in Jacksonville, and I don't see any way out of this. But that doesn't put them any higher than 4 because there are 3 teams that are far worse than that. The third one being Nick, stand up, Cincinnati Bengals. When we're talking about disappointing, you're talking about a receiver that had 200 plus yards receiving last week and a quarterback that's thrown 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games and them still being under 500. That's very concerning. A coach change needs to happen there. Number 3 is the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 2, I was early on this Jet shit. Shelton and I both said it. I never thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to be anything other than what he looks like right now because his last season in Green Bay was bad, and it's going into fruition. The Jets put all their eggs in his basket, and this shit looks terrible. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know if they rebuild. If he comes back next year, what do they look like? It's just all bad. Number 1, can anybody guess?
the America's team.
You got it, Sheldon, for $1 million.
All in.
Number 1 is the motherfucking Cowboys.
Don't put Dak up there.
Dak is out for the season. I don't even know if that nigga really hurt. CD's just stopped catching, and he ain't even worried about what's going on. They laughing on the sidelines. Michael Parsons is a podcaster. The coach is done. The owner is senile. Most of the money is tied up into people who don't give a fuck about this team and Dak and CD. I don't know where they go from here. It's been dismal watching this shit as a Dallas Cowboys fan each week, but this has been, and I know from an NFL standpoint, because they got a lot of late night games, they got a lot of primetime games that the Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving. I think they got 2 more primetime games that nobody's going to tune into because they suck. Cowboys have been the most disappointing team this season, and I don't know how they fix it.
I think.
Go ahead, Shelton.
No, I was just gonna say I think Colorado could beat the Cowboys. Go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
Oh, shut up. Well, we're gonna have their whole staff next year, so it's cool.
I think shit, y'all gonna be even terrible. I think people still watch those games because the Cowboys have a very, very loyal fan base.
True.
So I think you guys are just hate watch out of anger. So I if they flex them out, that says a lot. But I think because they're so loyal, I think they'll still run them just so they can, so people can talk shit about them because that's what people like to do, right? I do like find it amazing, and we'll go on to our weekly picks next, that as horrible as the Cowboys are, Lou still, one, found a way to talk about them this week because they were nowhere on the schedule, and two, somehow, some way, after all of this, in a losing season without their quarterback, Trey Lance played, by the way, Lou found a way to make them number one.
He did.
Hey, man, I'm doing God's work. I'm doing God's work.
Number one or something, kid.
Hey, I'm doing more than Jerry, Mike, Dak, CD, Micah to keep this name relevant. I'm the only one.
Oh man!
Hey, are the Bengals too high or too low, Nick?
The tendon ripped out the bone, though, Lou. So he is hurt.
Man, I don't believe that shit, man. That nigga quit.
I think he quit too. I think he quit
I ain't
too,
gonna lie
bro.
to you. I've never even heard of a hamstring being ripped off a bone before they said this for him to end the season. I've never even heard of it.
Yep. Nick, you up?
I would say, Lou, to answer your question, the Bengals, I probably would say that's an accurate placement for them for this season because obviously no one expected the Jets to be this bad, especially me. And I probably wouldn't put the Cowboys at number one, but for how the season has gone,
it's most disappointing.
I'm saying like I probably wouldn't have put them at number one, but I can see why you would.
Who would you have put at number one, Nick?
The Bengals.
Who's the most surprising on that list?
Honestly, I would probably say Chicago.
I think all of us picked the Jaguars.
I didn't think Chicago. I didn't think Chicago, especially because they were 4-2 at one point. I think before
they had a winning record.
Like they had a really winning record, and people thought Caleb was like ready to take off, and then all of a sudden, like now it went from heaven to hell with Caleb. So I think because Sheldon, like to your point, you always talked about this for years now. You ain't expect shit from Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? You always think they go, like, you know what I'm saying? So them being shitball ain't really surprising, but for the expectations that Caleb came into with Chicago.
If Dak playing and we got like you're expecting the Cowboys to win between 7 and 10 games every year.
And we're on
and see the only problem with that, Nick, is I didn't expect the Bears to be in the playoffs. Those other teams were playoff, people were putting them in the playoffs already. They definitely had the Jets in the playoffs.
Well,
they definitely had the Cowboys in the playoffs.
People had the Bears in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was the only one with that.
Everybody else right now. FIFA gone.
Right. He hit.
But speaking
I had him in the playoffs too.
Speaking of what teams are doing well, we get into these weekly picks as far as our individual teams. As you can see, everybody went 3-1 except that's why FIFA had to go re-up on his drink.
Yeah, he thought he was gone long enough. He came back too quick.
He thought it was over with.
We all went 3-1 except for FIFA. However, as you see at the bottom, the overall record, Shelton is number 1, FIFO's number 2, Spike and Ken are tied for 3rd. I'm in a doghouse right now, but as you know, boy, don't count the dog out, Ken. You know what I'm saying? Don't get into a tussle when you got the dog running against the wall. You know what I'm saying? He gonna bite you. Yeah, I'm ready to come because we got a special week.
I'm gonna catch FIFO and Shelton.
We got a special week coming. I don't need to be number 1. I just gotta be I just gotta beat out FIFO. Exactly. I just gotta beat out FIFO. That's
you're 6 games back of FIFO.
Exactly.
Bro, you're not catching me, Nick.
Well, don't say that now. You know what I'm saying? But those are the weekly picks from last week. Going into it, I think the Dead End Sports Viewers Choice, they went 2-1 last week as well. They are over 500.
Shout out to the whole cast though. Everybody over 500. Like solid picks are being made this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ken
we'll
was
see.
bullshit last year. Ken just threw some shit on the wall last year. He was under 500. He carried this year, so everybody above 500 though.
We'll see how this week's go. Let's go to the weekly picks. I don't know if I can call them out, but Jalen. All right. So we start off with a Thursday night football game. We got the Commanders going on the road to Philadelphia. FIFA, I don't know what the hell you.
FIFA, get your picks in.
Hey, I sent them in late, man. I sent them in late.
We started up. We created a whole. I'm gonna tell y'all the fans right now. We created a whole group chat. Just
hey,
just for FIFA.
Hey.
And this nigga
and FIFO's the phone expert.
That makes it even funny. I forgot that we did create a whole separate thing. And he just
it's a whole new process.
So FIFA, I gotta get you. Let me. What are you picking? Eagles.
I'm picking the Eagles.
I think FIFA do that so you can see who we picking. That's what I think it is.
So me and Ken are the only ones picking Washington. So Ken, I'll ask you, why are you picking Washington?
Philadelphia is playing really good right now. The defense is playing well, but I think they'll bounce back from a tough loss. They played against a tough defense. Like the Steelers' defense is legit, but I think Jaden Daniels is legit. Like he's seeing a lot of different things. So, and it's a division game, but. You know, that being said, it's his first division game, so he might get his ass whooped. But no, I think he'll bounce back.
For me, it was about that Washington Steelers game literally came down. It had anything to do with Jaden Daniels. It had to do with, I feel like Washington wasn't ready for that moment because everybody and their mama knew that they was going to try to just get you to jump off sides on that 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. And they just weren't ready for it. They've never been in that situation. I trust Jaden Daniels more than I would say this season than Jalen Hurts. So I am betting on him to win this game on the road. It's a division game, so you don't know how this is going to go. But yeah, Washington's been balling this year. I mean, Jaden's only thrown 2 picks throughout this whole season, which is crazy.
And that's the reason why, you know, me and Shelton agree that Jaden Daniels should be in the MVP conversation. Will they give it to a rookie? More than likely not. But let's be honest, bro. He's balling. He should be in that conversation. He's top 3. He's definitely top 3. But here's my thing, the reason why I picked the Eagles. I feel that loss that the Commanders had, it might stick with them. And I think that the Eagles need to send a message that, yeah, y'all might be hot this season, but this is our division. And this is one of those games that you put foot to ass and you sun them and you let them know that they're the little brother right now. So I expect that out of the Eagles. Will it happen? I don't know. But if the Eagles are what they say that they think they are, then that's what needs to happen. So that's the reason why I'm picking them.
Shelton FIFO, to me, this comes down to coaching. That's what it is. And Shelton, as much as you talk, I've never heard you talk about Jalen Hurts. You talk about AJ Brown. You talk about Saquon. I don't hear you talk about Sirianni. I don't hear you talk about Sirianni at all.
Because it's about Kellen Moore at this point, and the difference that you're seeing in the Eagles now is Kellen Moore has more control of the offense than before. Sirianni's not being able to stick it. I think they pretty much shut him down from that.
Listen to me, Sheldon. As a Cowboys fan, the last person that you want the shit falling on is Kellen Moore. I promise you that's not going to work out well in y'all favor. For me, I just think the Eagles have more experience. Washington is getting to the same place in their schedule that Pittsburgh is getting to. These are division games. The Eagles have more experience in these situations. That's why I expect them to win. Though I'm rooting for the Redskins because fuck the Eagles. But yeah, I picked the Eagles because they just have more experience.
I like that eagle above your head, Lou, and Redskins gone, bro.
I hope I have to never see that shit again. We shouldn't even pick no more Eagles game this season.
I'm gonna take a picture of that.
Up next,
thank you, Jalen.
Up next, we have the Green Bay Packers going against the Chicago Bears. I know this is a game that seems like it shouldn't really be picked, but clearly we have somebody that's going to with the Bears. FIFA, I don't know where.
Packers. I'm going
so if that's the case, Ken, what are you trying to say?
Because this game shouldn't have been on the schedule, so I was like, all right, I don't know why we're picking this game. And I started to text. You were like, what are you doing? Like,
you know what it is, Ken.
I know. It's Nick always got to set it up.
Ulterior motives.
Look,
Nick should be a lawyer.
So I taught myself into picking the Bears because my first instinct was Green Bay. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go against the grain as I've done this year. The defense is legit. Jordan Love loves to throw picks. He loves to close his eyes and just football up for grabs. And the Bears are mired in a slump. They just fired their OC, so this will be a good week to reverse the trend.
Watch you be right. Ken, you're going to be right.
To quote Nick, if the Bears win this game, a conversation going to have to be had about Jordan Love.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, Lou. I'm fine with that. However, as we mentioned earlier in this program, Caleb Williams they only scored 27 points in the last 3 games.
Even more need for the conversation. If they lose this game, there's a conversation to be had about Jordan Love.
As much as Jordan Love is a gunslinger and a turnover, he throw points on the board at least. You can't say he don't throw points on the board.
That's LaFleur.
Okay, him too. I give him credit for that. Yeah. FIFA, who you got? You got the Packers?
Yeah, I got the Packers.
Okay. All right. Up next, who we got?
Conversation about that. Ooh,
I got the Ravens.
So with this,
you thought you by yourself, didn't you?
With this game, we have the Baltimore Ravens. This is first division game that the Steelers are going with. They're facing the Baltimore Ravens, who arguably are the hottest team in the AFC outside of Kansas City. I got the Ravens. Who you got, FIFA?
Ravens.
So why you got the Ravens?
I got the Ravens because they got the MVP this year. To me, when I watch him play, I fear him most at the quarterback position right now. And I know that the Steelers got a good defense. I ain't worried about it. There's a couple of I'm not betting against teams this year. Ravens are one of them. Lions are another one. The Chiefs are another one. I ain't been against them guys.
Shelton, why are you betting with the Steelers?
Because they're in Pittsburgh and we've seen them pick up momentum. They have momentum on their side. This game means a lot, and I'm sure Tomlin's going to have those guys ready to play. I don't have any doubts in the Ravens, but I have more confidence in the Steelers defense than I do in the Ravens defense. And they don't have to stop him. They just have to limit him. And I think that'll be the difference.
For me, before I let anybody else speak, to me, it's like the Ravens have proven they can put points on the board. The Steelers have not proven that to me yet. And I know people are like, what you mean? They threw up 28 points on the Commanders. But again, the last 3 games we've seen with Danger Russ is against the Giants, the Jets, and the Commanders. And if I went into this season and told you that Russell Wilson will beat the Giants, Jets, and Commanders, I would say that don't mean a lot of shit to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's without Marshawn Lattimore. He didn't play last game against the Steelers, which I think he would have made a difference. So I'm going into this with thinking like this is the game for me to see like how true and legit the Steelers are as far as a playoff contender. But I don't expect them to stop Lamar, even though Lamar is like 1-5, 1-6 against the Steelers, so they do have his number. But eventually that has to stop. So I think this is this year.
I thought that this is a must-win game for Russ in the sense of him thinking that he was back. I feel like that this is. I'm going against the top quarterback in the league. They try to write me off. So I think that he's going to be very motivated to go out here and win this game and play to the top of his abilities. So that's why I picked the Steelers. And I think that they have a better coach.
That's right.
I was also going to say special teams has won the last 2 games for the Steelers too. When it comes to that kickoff or the punt return in the Giants game, and then the punt fumble in the Commanders game.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Russ really go like toe for toe with any QB yet. So this is the game.
I think this is the game. I think this will be a great.
This is the game. We'll see. We'll see. Up next, who we got? We got the Kansas City Chiefs. They were saying this is the game of the weekend.
It is
on the road to the Buffalo
Bills.
This
is a game of the year.
It's a game of the year. It is.
Game so of the year? Game of the year?
Is.
Absolutely.
So who you got, FIFO?
Chiefs.
So everybody got the Chiefs except Shelton. So why the hell are you doing this?
Because they can't go undefeated this year, and this is the last best team on the schedule. Once again,
I'm
they're
a
on the
hater,
road.
aka I'm a hater. So I'm just gonna be a hater.
Yeah, I don't like them dudes. But but I just think that Buffalo been winning these crazy games too, and it's just been like both these teams have been winning games that they probably shouldn't have won. But Buffalo is home, and the Chiefs can't keep winning like that. That's pretty much it.
Again, like people said, bro, I can't. Sheldon,
It's hard to bet against
I'm
Patrick.
gonna ask you 3 questions. I'm gonna just ask you 3 questions.
Yep, the coach,
who got the better
coach,
Who got the better
quarterback,
and
and
who got the better defense?
They got all 3 of them.
I even say who got the better kicker.
I know.
and I was cussing out kickers earlier this year.
Yeah. They got all that, man. But like I said, out of all the teams that they played, this is going to be the toughest challenge yet. And I just think that the Bills at home will be able to get it done. It means more to the Bills than it does to the Chiefs. Put it that way.
Thank you for picking them. It lets us pick up some ground.
The Chiefs, honestly, this is the last game they need to win, because if they win this game, they locked up the number 1 seed.
They 4 games up. They 4 games up if they win this game. They 4 up on the Bills. They 4 up on the Ravens. They literally have nothing to play for the rest of the season if they win this game.
Exactly. They could just rest their players damn near for the rest of the season.
Crazy.
Because even if they tie with the same record, they
still get home field.
Right.
So it's like the Chiefs really just need to win 11 games and they good for the rest of the season.
Yep.
I can't wait to see this game.
That's
the last game, right?
Nah, we got one more.
Why?
We got one more extra. Because I had to do it. Jalen ain't punk ass. I probably ain't even crazy. But this is
Jalen said we talk too much. He said
we talk too much, and I'm trying to come back.
There isn't a graphic for it.
I'm trying to come back. I'm trying to come back in these picks. But we got the Sunday. It's Sunday Night Football, Sheldon.
That's why we got
it. So we got it. It's Cincinnati on the road against the LA Chargers, and I put this on the slate, Lou, not for Cincinnati, so we can talk about the Chargers.
That's absolutely false.
Sure you didn't.
I put this to talk about the Chargers because Ken always said we don't talk about all the teams like we used supposed to. Can we talk about Jim Harbaugh and the shit that he's doing? He's the Lou, I know you watch a lot of white programming. You know about them extreme makeovers they do. They turn the shit.
I know the brothers. I know the 2 brothers. Yeah. You know that's my bad.
They turn a shitball house into a damn near mansion overnight. That's what he did with the Chargers. The Chargers are in the playoffs. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Shut. I don't know if you know that.
Is it just me though, or do y'all still not? I still don't believe in them though.
Why?
Well, we do have one more thing to
we
do.
see this all the time from them. My bad. Yeah.
No, one more solo thing, but did you get everybody? Yeah, did we get everybody's picks for that? Nick, you got that recorded?
No, I don't. So who y'all got?
I got the Chargers.
I think I went Cincinnati.
Can you going with Cincinnati, or you think you going with Cincinnati?
Let me look and see what I sent Jayla, but I'm pretty positive I picked Cincy.
Yeah, I gotta pull up my text messages. I'll remember now.
Sheldon, you going with Chargers?
Yeah, I went Cincinnati.
Yeah, I picked the Chargers.
Lou, who you going with?
I picked the Chargers.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. But all right, go ahead.
Who you got?
Go ahead.
I picked the Chargers because the coach.
You already know I'm going with the hometown team. This is all I got.
You said you did it for
then I can fall back on the Knicks.
The
Giants.
So I'm coming at you live, you guys, with against the spread. I don't know if you guys are bettors or not out there, but if not, you can jump on Prize Picks. There's a couple other apps that I'm getting into, but for now, I'm just going to stick to Prize Picks. So there's a couple picks that I have I picked 3 picks for Thursday night's football game since I had to do it in advance. And the 3 picks that I got that I think are surefire picks right now is one is going to be Saquon Barkley. I did it that order. I'm sorry. Zach Ertz with 3.5 receptions, over 3.5 receptions. I think he's going to be a safety valve for Daniels, and he's going to get the ball to him early and often. So look out for Zach Ertz, 3.5. I got Jalen Hurts with over 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. He's going to get a rushing touchdown in this game for sure. They have a knack for he's a running back, quarterback, all that. But he's been scoring every game. The third one is Saquon Barkley, 93.5 rushing yards over. He had a quiet game in the last game. Look for him to be used early and often in this game. He's rested and ready to go. So these are your surefire picks for Thursday night's game. Lock them in, and you can bet high on that. These are one unit, which means whatever your top dollar is to bet, you can bet on these three.
Man had all the Washington players he could have chose all Philadelphia players
to
hit their marks.
Lou, the thing about it is picking the best odds. That's all. It ain't even the players. The numbers were just too high. And they didn't have rush receiving for Daniel.
All I would say is fuck Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore in this offense because he is stealing touchdowns from Saquon Barkley.
Facts. And Saquon on my fantasy team.
Bro,
and it's bullshit. He's doing that push bullshit. And I could have won a lot more games if he just gave the ball to Saquon Barkley. I agree with you there, Nick.
I lost this week. God. I lost this week just because of that. Fuck Jalen Hurts.
Jesus.
All right, cool. Let's get into our super chats and we'll call it a night. I do want to read off. This will be after this. The college football thingamajig drop the rankings. Georgia fell all the way to 12. But top of the evening, everyone. Not even our starting QB snapping his leg could stop my Argos from reaching the Grey Cup. Bring on the Blue Bombers.
Rob, we don't know what you talking about.
Kelly, man, hey,
this may as well be soccer, Rob.
Y'all can look it up on Twitter, man. That he was trying to hold his leg in place. That was pretty bad break too.
Sheldon,
hey,
we don't care.
Kelly,
this is a Make America Great Again sports show. We don't care.
We do not care, Rob. Like Grey Cup, CFL football shit out of here, bro.
And the thing about it is we can't even move to Canada because they got their own issues going on.
They worse than us.
Yeah, we kind of stuck here right now. All right. Well, congrats on that. TJ Clark, can we talk about how Nick's team has only won against 2 to 7 teams?
I told you I ain't talking about the Bengals until they over 500. So
they're talking about the Bengals or the Bengals or the Giants.
Don't even worry about that, Sheldon. Nonetheless, you haven't heard me talk about either one of those teams on this
or the Jets. Or the Jets.
Hey,
the sauce ain't sauce no more. He's a man. Sauce ain't sauce.
Sauce is taking off. This is a bad year for Sauce, but I still believe in him.
He need to be on Micah's podcast. They're doing the same stuff.
Might as well. Ain't neither one of them missing that.
Rob, guess I wasn't crazy to call Kyler Murray top 10. I will say, no, you wasn't crazy, but the timing of last week, good call out on putting that topic up, recommending that topic, Spike, because it was right on time after what they did to the Jets Sunday. Yep.
He's just got to keep it going, Rob. We've seen this story from Kyler before. He normally goes down.
As long as he don't get injured.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It happens all the time to him. Something is nagging that goes wrong with him. So hopefully he can make it through the season.
If he can stay healthy, I'd like to see what Arizona's going to do.
Yeah. Jared Goff scored 6 points in the Super Bowl. Yep. That's when Nick had him Nick had him as a top 8 QB.
Hey, Ken, I was gonna say, Ken, it's coming full circle. It's coming full circle.
Let me ask you this.
He top 10 now, ain't he, Ken?
I don't know if he's in my top 10, Nick.
Absolutely
top
not.
10. He gotta be
5 interceptions, 145 the week before that, 86 yards the week before that. Come on, man.
What's that completion percentage look like?
It don't matter if he's throwing the ball.
And that win-loss record. Tell me what that
he's a running back that ain't running.
Stop, bro. I take Goff over Hurts any day.
You take him over Dak too right now, wouldn't you?
I would drive Dak to the airport for Jared Goff, nigga. What is you talking about?
Bro, he went from dang, that's crazy. Those 5 interceptions ballooned his interception stat. That's crazy, bro.
He only had 4 on the year
going
into it.
Yeah, and this shit up to 9. That shit looks awful now. Yeah, if he didn't throw those 2, he could have at least blamed it on bad luck. But anyway, don't want to brag and boast about Trump, so Tyson or Jake Paul this weekend.
This ain't
Neither. I hope
What?
they call it.
How do
Rashawn, I
those
hope-
tie into each other?
Yeah.
well, I was gonna say like
Oh, because he
like,
do the
that's-
Trump thing all the time.
As I so
Because
as
if
I
you go
told
for
y'all,
Jake Paul, you got to be for Trump.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
as I told y'all in the chat, bro, this ain't been a good year for blacks. So I'm expecting Tyson to get knocked the fuck out.
He ain't gonna
Honestly,
get knocked
bro.
out.
Don't say
I'm
that,
just
Nick.
I'm saying
Don't
show
say
the
that, bro.
if he getting bro, I'm
Nick,
expecting
don't
him to
say
get out
that,
there.
bro.
I'm saying that
If he
FIFO. I'm
does,
sorry.
You can't say
that's
that, bro.
W.
I'm
This
sorry.
WWE,
say
man.
that,
This is scripted.
When was the
I
last
don't
time
care
you
what
bet on a
nobody says.
50-plus-year-old man beating a
I can't-
30-something year old?
60. He's 67.
Hey man,
bro.
when he's Mike Tyson, shit.
Nah,
He's 60
FIFO.
FIFO. He's 67 years old.
This is we
Hey,
don't went back in time, bro.
67.
Black men can't beat up on white men like they used to.
No,
Not while Trump in office.
Roy Jones said that he punched him one time and it felt like a horse kicking him. He said Tyson still got it. So
Here's my thing. So Shelton, you said this was a WWE, right?
58.
Like,
excuse
and
me.
that
He's
is
58.
that is scripted. You
yeah, I
are you
don't
joking or
I'm serious, man. I don't
or is this a
believe
real
these.
fight?
I don't
Nah,
think
this
it's
is
a real fight,
sanctioned
man.
fight, yo. Like this is sanctioned in Houston.
I think. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying these Paul brothers, man. I don't pay them no attention. But what you say, Ken?
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of messed up, to be honest.
It is.
That this man, should he win this fight, and I think he probably will win this fight, will get credit for beating Mike Tyson at the age
58.
that he is, right? You're
58, Ken.
your props are gonna be beating a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, bro.
Mhm.
You gotta wait until this man turns old to beat him. Not in his prime, not in his decline.
Mm.
Old and retired. And
For a
he's
long
gonna get props for that.
Right.
For a long
That's
time.
some bullshit, bro. Why
It is,
what
man.
taking advantage of Tyson like that?
They said Tyson's getting 20 to 30 million from this fight, though.
Yeah,
He
and
probably
right.
need
Damn.
And yes, and
Shit, I would have fought too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's why.
It's
But
a
it
great
messes,
business decision.
it messes with his legacy. We know he lost to Buster Douglas in a
Fuck
couple.
legacy, bro. I'm getting $30
has some
million.
other stuff.
Fuck legacy. I ain't
White
gonna
people
hold you.
white people
it don't mess
are
with the
notorious
legacy,
for doing
Shelton.
this shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
But it don't mess with the legacy because the legacy is already set. Like, okay, fine, fuck it. He loses to Jake Paul, and does that take away any of those other 5-second knockouts, 20-second knockouts that he's had? Like, we've never seen nothing like.
No,
Tyson
but it gives
before Tyson.
credibility
It's
to
since
this
Tyson.
Paul guy. Like it
come on,
He
no,
already got
because
that,
we
though.
got
It
the
does,
out of him
man.
being 67.
He already he already got Paul already has the credibility. People are already saying that he's a good fighter.
really.
Like they're already
Okay.
he's considered a decent fighter for an amateur in boxing circles.
Okay.
So they already consider him as that. It does affect Tyson's legacy, but if I'm getting 20 to 30 million for my legacy, fuck it. Like, let's run it.
Does
I'm
it?
58.
How
Like,
does it affect the legacy? Explain
because
this
he
to
can't
me.
get knocked out by he's not a professional boxer, FIFO.
No,
He's not
man.
gonna
and
get
you
knocked
still
out.
and he still looked upon as Mike Tyson. He's not the same. We know he old, but everybody still see him as Mike Tyson.
Everybody's
That's the
sports
hero.
eyes who ain't dug deep into this. Like, this is a YouTube dude who's doing this shit for clicks and pub, but he happens to get money from it, and he happens to be able to give Tyson 20 to 30 million for it. Okay, cool. But if he knocks him out, it's like, damn, bro. Like, you got knocked out.
Like
by
we
him?
losing. I'm with Nick, man. We losing again, bro.
Mm.
Like all of the guys we hold in high
Tyson
regard.
winning. Tyson winning though.
It's fucked
Tyson
up.
probably
bro.
owe that money to somebody. They probably
I'm
take
really starting to
That's
resent
fair.
this fight. Honestly, it's
I agree.
I
with you.
am.
Now I do agree with that. I agree with that, Ken. I think this shouldn't even be a thing.
I do too. I like I said, I do too.
Yeah, I would like to see this not even happen.
for
If
real.
y'all are interested, though, they're showing a lot of these fights, his old fights on.
Sheldon, like, yeah, but by the way, they got here's the tag for it, right?
No. I'm talking about the old fights, not this stuff. I'm talking about the old fights that I've been enjoying watching those back.
I just hope Tyson forget where he was at and just and go off script, bro.
Yeah, and then he went to the hospital during this.
Head
What happened on the plane? He had an emergency on the plane, and
Yeah.
come on, man, don't do this.
Man, all right. Well, anyway, but yeah, that's I hate to see, man. One way or another, Rayshawn Davis gonna push his MAGA agenda. on the show. Speaking of MAGA, some more MAGAs went down this week. Well, yeah, it was a loss, but a gain. Georgia lost to Ole Miss. Yeah, shit, Ole Miss is just as bad. But yeah, so the top
Worse.
Yeah.
Shit.
So Oregon is number 1, Ohio State all the way back to 2, Texas 3rd. This was like Penn State 4th, Indiana, who survived.
Boy,
Shelf, you need to stop talking about these
What
teams.
I tell
bro.
you, Nick,
I
about
can't wait.
Indiana.
I can't wait to Indiana play Ohio State. That's the
What I
that's
tell
the-
you about
that's-
Indiana, Nick.
They
What you
barely
mean?
beat Michigan, bro.
I don't care.
They
Y'all
won.
said they was gonna lose. Y'all called me crazy.
I didn't say that. I just said Indiana's not that good.
All I was that's all I said was that Indiana ain't that good. And then when they face Ohio State, we're gonna see how good they are.
And Michigan is trash. BYU is 6, Tennessee is 7, Notre Dame 8, Miami fell all the way to 9.
This Saturday,
BYU 6, and they lost. Didn't they lose to Utah? Or did I miss it?
No, they won.
Oh, they came back and won.
this
Mhm.
Saturday night,
Oh
the
my
the
God.
best game of the week is Tennessee versus I think
Georgia?
Georgia, yeah.
Mhm.
That's the
It
game.
is.
If Georgia loses that game, for one, Connor Beck is out of the first round. Period. As
He
far
should
as-
be already, Nick.
No,
He
he
should
already
already be.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying that's nail in the coffin. And if Tennessee loses that game, they may be out of the top 12, possibly.
They already out too.
So
Georgia's
I-
going to beat them, and Beck is out of the top. Like both of those things have already happened.
And Bama's 10, so they back in the race.
Check that Missouri South Carolina game out if y'all get a chance to. That's gonna be a good
Who
one.
watching that?
Why?
That's a good
Why
one.
would we watch that? Why would we?
Because you got NFL players all over the field in that game.
No.
Nah, man, we got better things to do. Shelter.
We'll take your word for it. We'll take your word. Let us know what players get drafted. Then
Man,
we'll
y'all
watch
watching
them
that game
in
with
the
me, man.
league. Like
Y'all
we'll do
watching
that.
That's 23 and 21, man. They 72 and what?
Man,
6.
bro, ain't nobody turns.
63?
That's the beautiful thing about having a college playoff now. We ain't gotta watch shit like that. We can watch
That's a good game, man.
We can watch the games that matter, and we know
Man, that
what's
game
going on.
matters, man. Come on now. Y'all gonna watch that game, man. We're gonna watch
But yeah, no, Georgia needs this win, and they'll climb back in it. And I think I got a sneaky feeling they're gonna beat Tennessee. So yeah. So anyway,
I think Tennessee gonna ball on Georgia, bro. I think
Georgia at home, so they should win that game.
they
Georgia-
should, but they should have won a
Georgia
lot of
will.
games, Sheldon, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So I think they go.
If Tennessee had another quarterback that wasn't a freshman, then they may have a chance. But the freshman quarterback on the road, it ain't gonna happen.
Mm.
I'd be
Yeah.
shocked.
Well, Cam Ward definitely hurt his Heisman odds. That shit plummeted after that game.
And his people who were saying, "Oh, he better than Shadua," odds too. Shadua is going to be the first quarterback taken. It's not Cam Ward,
And that's
I ain't
just
gonna
off
go, I ain't gonna
marketing.
go, I'm only
Case
going.
closed.
We gotta judge all
Case
these
closed.
quarterbacks. All these quarterbacks are going to the playoffs. I'm judging
Hey,
them off of
man.
that. I mean, of course,
Shadua
losing to Georgia,
don't
losing to
even
Georgia,
got to go to the playoffs. He gonna be the first quarterback taken.
losing to Georgia Tech on the road is horrendous. However, I gotta see Cam Ward in the playoffs. That's all.
Man,
I'm saying.
He might not even make it. Bro.
I didn't watch
Might
that
not.
whole game, but I didn't realize he threw for 348, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Still, if you saw the stat lines, you'd think he played excellent.
Still lost to Georgia
But
Tech.
he didn't. But I mean, it wasn't that though.
It was the
So-
fumble. It was the fumble. It was the fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah. that
And he
fumble
was good. Yeah, he probably would have won that game. 2024 Heisman Trophy odds, since we're coming down the home stretch. I am actually on NewYorkTimes.com, but I think this is Athletic. I don't know how good they are. Travis Hunter more than likely is going to win it. He's still number 1. Dylan Gabriel, Ashton Jonty, Cameron Ward is still on their list, and Curtis Rourke from Indiana. That's bro. Let me get.
That's
it.
wild.
I need a real one. What is
What
that?
is he
I
play?
don't know what they talking about.
I'm gonna say I don't even know what Rourke played. I know everybody else. I don't even know what.
I was surprised that the QB from Oregon is he still on the list? He ain't top 5.
Yeah, he's still.
Yeah,
He
just
said
said
it.
He just said
He
it.
third.
He just said it.
All right, so yeah, that's top 3. Like I told y'all, when it comes to top 5s, top 3 the only one that matters.
Yeah.
Let's stop the bullshit.
That's
They talking about Genty being the top, a first round pick now.
that's not gonna happen.
He will. Nah, he will. He will be. If Bijan was a first
Nobody's
round pick,
taking him. No, he's not Dijon though. He's not Bijan Robinson. He's a good running back, but he's not Bijan Robinson.
But you don't think like the Cowboys would draft him?
Hell no, they bet
So
not.
what are you gonna draft?
I would be devastated if they took
bro.
him as a first round pick.
What do you
Unless
mean?
they trade, unless they traded back to like 30, unless they traded back to 30 and got
30?
other picks. Yeah, I'm not taking Genty as bro. The state that our franchise,
who would you take?
The state that our franchise is in, and we're talking about a running back being taken as first round pick.
You can't take
God
Genty.
no.
You can't take
That's your biggest area of weakness, though. Luke.
Horrible pick.
You can get another running back.
Yeah, that's a horrible pick. I can get a
Genty's
medium,
not
the
average running back.
It doesn't matter.
Huh?
Genty's not a franchise
he's
changing
cool.
quarterback.
He ain't
bro.
like
Running
Derrick
back,
Henry
bro.
or nothing like that. Like,
You don't
nah, you
think
can't
so?
take him high. No, God,
Why
no.
not?
You can't take him high in the draft.
Why
take a high pick in the draft?
That he's a top player like that.
You know it when you see it, FIFO. And
and that ain't it. That ain't it. Like Ken, that was perfect. You know it when you see it, and that's not it.
So yeah,
he good. And another team.
So
who's
your guy? Who's your guy, Lou?
Shador or Travis Hunter. That's it.
Right. Oh man, first off, Travis ain't gonna be there, and I got 60 million reasons why Shador won't be.
We're going to be terrible. So if we can trade up and add picks on to what we at as far as Sorry and get Shador or Travis, that's gonna pick.
Like you can't trade that. Like what do you mean?
All right. Well, that's gonna
the Raiders, the Jaguars, all those teams might take Dak.
They not, Lou. You stuck. Yeah, you stuck with that.
Okay, we can still get Hunter.
Hey, round of applause because Luke made it through the show too.
I'll take Hunter.
Lou ain't goes off.
I took a nap today.
Luke goes off but twice.
That's why Jalen been getting out of here. Jalen like, hey man, y'all old ass, y'all need to hear what the hell y'all doing, bro?
Jalen been pressing us in the text message like, nigga, come on to the next scene.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna leave it there, man. We'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.